Man, I'll tell you what, if I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, it wasn't a good weekend for you. Good afternoon. Appreciate you. Big Sales here. And please hit the like button. We're going to get to your supers right away. Hey, Sixer fans, I just realized one thing watching the Knicks win the NBA championship with three Philly guys. You're pretty far away. You're pretty far away. Watching the New York Knicks, I never thought in my lifetime I would ever say New York Knicks, NBA champions. I never thought I would say that. And here we are. NBA champions for the first time in 53 years. Incredible. Hold on here. Don't start with me today, Sills. I'm wondering if that's the New York Knicks. Happy birthday to our 47th president, Donald J. Trump. UFC Freedom 250 was amazing. Thank you, Dana White. All the fighters, servicemen, that flyover was the most badass thing I've seen in a while. Thank you, Hollywood, for the super chat. I appreciate you very much. Yes, sir. I'll get into all that here. I will. Y'all never say Sixers are NBA champions. You'll never say it. Not with Josh Harris running that team. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. We have, without a doubt, okay? Without a doubt. Get this. Sills talk shit about how Stephen A. and other big pundits said Brunson wasn't worth it coming off the Mavs bench. I have no idea. I didn't even know Jalen Brunson played for the Mavericks. I don't know what you're saying. Sills talk shit about how Stephen A. and other big pundits said Brunson wasn't worth it coming off the bench. Oh, I got you, bro. I did. That's right. I did. I can't believe that. Okay? I can't believe that Mark Cuban passed on that guy. He'll go down as one of the greatest sports people, Reyes. He'll go down as one of the greatest New York sports celebrities of all time. Sills, you should talk shit about how they did. Gotcha, bro. Dude, many people said that guy was a nobody. What was he, like the 33rd or 32nd pick in the NBA draft? Which I know he was a second-round pick. Okay? I mean, dude, congratulations to Jalen Brunson. He's won an NBA championship. He's won 2 national titles. I think he was the College Player of the Year. And now he's got an NBA Finals MVP. He'll go down. And by the way, they're starting to talk about him like Derek Jeter. Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson. Dude, kudos to my boy Worldwide Wes. Incredible. Gary Cobb, 4:30. Big Z will be with us at 3:30, and we get into the topics. Unlike other shows that steal our content, we have, without a doubt, some great areas that we're going to go down today. Big Sills, top 10 bold predictions, just like we do every year. We got 10 of them on your Philadelphia Eagles. 10 bold predictions that we have. First and foremost, we got to start it off with this. So, it's being reported that Jalen Hurts has a problem with some of his teammates. And I didn't report this. I did not report this. This is bleeding green. Some close to Jalen Hurts feel that the Eagles did not support him enough. When some constructively insightful stories came out this past offseason here about his deficiencies on the field, no one spoke up publicly on Hurts' behalf as they did back in the day in 19 with Carson Wentz. It's pretty true. All those articles that came out about him, no one stood up and said they're wrong. Seals, I saw the list of the 5 worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. 5 was Doug Williams. 4 was Joe Flacco. 3 was Nick Foles. 2 was Jim Plunkett. And number 1 was Jalen Hurts. Not a shocker, Kyle. Kyle, where'd you see that list? I'd like to see that list. On the 5 guys who won the Most Valuable Player Award. Hey, so Bleeding Green and these guys reported this. What do you make of this here? Who else did this too? Oh my God, the guy who wrote that story that was criticized for the Carson Wentz story is also part of this. Interesting. Let me read it one more time to you. From Bleeding Green, some close to Jalen Hurts field, and this is, by the way, being reported on many of the Philadelphia sports sites. Some close to Jalen Hurts feel that the Eagles did not support him enough when some constructively insightful stories came out this past offseason here on some of his deficiencies on the field. No one spoke up publicly on Hurts' behalf as they did with Carson Wentz in 2019. So, my question would come down is this. Has he lost some of that locker room? Has he lost some of that locker room? Has he? Hurts owes his to the defense. Oh, by the way, we got a brand new list of quarterbacks that are going to be having their contracts redone this offseason here, or in the mix of it right now. And there's about 7 of them. Hurts' name isn't on it. Foles indeed carried the defense. The defense carried Hurts. Okay? Eagles trying to build the case to get rid of him. Could be. Seals, you messy as fuck. The cancer's gone. Marsh. I didn't put that story out there that Jalen's butthurt, that half of his locker room is upset with him. I didn't put that out there. Don't get mad at me. That was somebody that's inside the building saying that. You got me wrong, man. That ain't my story. I didn't write that. That's not for me. So you got the wrong guy there. Again, it's your delivery. Oh, is it? Big facts. Hey, Nad, you think he's lost half his locker room? Jalen has had a team 6 seasons. Foles could never. Someone picked up a Sills narrative and ran with it. Blaming me for a narrative and Bleeding Green? Who's upset with Hurts on this current roster? Let's go down the rabbit hole. How about the coaching staff? How about the coaching staff? Because it says here, some close to Jalen Hurts feel the Eagles. It doesn't say Eagle players. Marsh, I think it's the organization. It's the organization. Nobody said Eagle players. You heard Eagle players. You heard it. You heard it. See this here? This means nothing. Zero. Zero. Because if the Eagles cared, they would have extended him now. Howie doesn't wait for the market. Howie gets in front of the market. All of this, irrelevant. Dickerson sacrificed millions and years on the stupid tush push and run blocking 500 times. Here, look at this. Jalen wins until he loses. Keep dreaming. You're not being paid on winning. No one's paid on winning. That guy thinks you get paid on winning. Stupid. I'm going to make a point to you here in a minute. These guys don't get paid on winning. They get paid on talent. Completely missed the... Once again, you don't know what you're talking about. Sills, why don't you read the article? Philadelphia better watch itself or it'll lose another... Who said Hurts is a superstar? Give me a break. Guy's not a superstar. That's like saying Sam Darnold's a superstar. Sills, do you think Nick generally enjoys being the head coach of the Eagles? I do. He lost play calling duties, has Hurts as a quarterback, and never gets credit when they win, only when they lose. I think it's a tough place to be because when they win, Howie Roseman gets all the credit. When they lose, he gets all the heat. It's true. My boy Marsh, one of the true captains of the Jalenites. The offensive coaching staff is trash. Hurts is definitely drawing a line. You heard him say he did not call the 4 verts. Y'all keep bailing Nick out. That's the problem. Who said I bailed Nick out? I think Nick is a stiff. You know I do. When Josh Allen going to a Super Bowl, doesn't matter. Jalen Brunson took the Knicks and won the championship. So, the little guy was Superman, Batman. Josh Allen just chokes every time in the playoffs. Hey, Dawn. Once again, you can make your dumb argument here. No one thinks Josh Allen's better, or Jalen Hurts is a better football player than Josh Allen. Josh Allen could lose 7 opportunities to go to a Super Bowl. No one's trying to replace him. No one's talking about changing the offense for him. No one's asking him to play like Brock Purdy. What are you, crazy? Leon Rose from Cherry Hill built the Knicks. How sad. Also, Worldwide Wes. Sill's obsession with Jalen Hurts starting to show a lot. Man, you find something to criticize this man each show. Hold on. I just read a comment. Don't get pissed. These are your reporters. I'm just commenting. I didn't write the fucking thing. Don't get mad because somebody else writes it. Jimbo, that's how I feel about Jay-Z can't stand, dude. I didn't write that bullshit. Small world, Sills. I knew Brunson in high school in Lincolnshire, Illinois, and played ball with him. That's pretty dope, dude. Good for you, man. Purdy went to a Super Bowl, 6th-round pick before Allen. So, are you under the impression Brock Purdy's a better player than Josh Allen? It's an asinine comment. And you look dumb when you make those comments. Dude, you can say whatever you want. Nobody on the planet. You want to know what a smiley face is? Talk to a normal football people and try to say that you think that Brock Purdy's a better player than Josh Allen because he went to a Super Bowl is stupid. It is stupid. It's ridiculous. Going to a Super Bowl means a player's better than another player. How many winning is all that matters? Not when you're paying quarterbacks or paying anybody in the NFL. You know, that's a great comment. Highest paid players in the NFL. Let's take a look at that. for a second and see how that plays out. Now, we know what position already it's true. Highest paid players in the NFL by position. Well, we know one of those positions is a quarterback, and it is Patrick Mahomes, who's won Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls. So let's take a look at that. Highest paid players by position. Highest paid NFL. There we go. 2026. Let's take a look at that. There we go. There's perfect right there, baby. Highest paid players, 26. You got it. It is without a doubt $63 million large starting next year is going to be Patrick Mahomes. So let's take a look at wide receiver, shall we? So right now, the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, according to Spotrac, this year in base salary alone, is actually Chris Godwin at $34 million. Okay? Let's see here, cap hit. Hold on, let's do total cash. Let's do total cash. Let's see here. Should we do base salary? Nah, not base salary. Let's do total cash. Okay. So it's JSN. JSN at 36.5. Man. Super Bowl winner. Way to go. So there's two. Let's go O-line. Let's see. Jeremy Tunsil. I don't think that guy's ever been to a Super Bowl. How about right tackle? How about defensive tackle? And let's go edge rusher. Micah Parsons. He never been to an NFC championship game. And he hasn't even been to how about a linebacker? Let's see here. Kid in Cincinnati? Wow. That guy's making $28 million. The point is, guys that are paid, the highest paid quarterbacks in pro football, there's only one or two dudes. There's only one or two dudes that have won a Super Bowl. Okay? That's because you don't understand them, because you're a fucking buffoon. The guy's numbnuts. All he does in here is post a trillion nothings. Dude, not a person in here thinks you have marbles or a grain of brains. Keep posting away, son. Go right ahead. And we'll be here tomorrow. Congratulations to you. I'm glad we make your life. God knows what would happen if the show ended. You'd end your life. It's a horrible thing to think about. That's why we're here for you, son. We're here for you because we're here to make you feel better. Good for you, man. Look at this. Triggered. This guy sits around all week. I don't normally care what he says. And he lives for it. I think it's wonderful. Good for you, dude. To get me to get your attention. That's pretty wonderful. Hey, dude, I'm not the one that goes to your show. You come here every day. What a jackass. Hey, by the way, congratulations. It is too funny. It's too easy. Guy, the chances of me ever responding to you again as of June 15th won't happen ever again. Have a great one. Thanks. Keep posting away. So, we now move on to another topic here. Here are the new contracts that are being negotiated with quarterbacks as we speak. let's see here. So, Lamar Jackson is in the mix right now of negotiating a $63.09 plus dollar a year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. And right now, we're looking, and according to the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens would like to have this contract done in the next 39 days. That's how many days it is to training camp. So you're going to have Lamar Jackson at $63.2 million. According to the Ravens, they are working that contract as we speak. Here is the next, according to the NFL Players Association, quarterback that is due a contract conversation and is in the midst of working that contract. It's Joe Burrow. In 23, this is from the NFLPA. After his first 3 seasons, Burrow agreed to a 7-year deal with an average of $44.2 million. New money averaged $55 million. He redid his contract and restructured it. And Cincinnati, 1 year later, upped the money to $55 million. He has 4 years left with a total payment of $163 million. Still there. He recently restructured, according to the NFLPA, was a cap creation device with no new money. The Bengals, who are extremely careful, but have decided this offseason that they will address his contract extension. As of right now, Joe Burrow is working on a brand new contract extension, even with years remaining on his deal. So, many of you say, who's getting a new deal? No one else has. That's why Hurts hasn't been signed. Well, right now, Joe Burrow and Lamar are working on a new contract before the start of training camp. Here's another quarterback that's in line with his organization. Okay? Baker Mayfield. They, as of right now, are negotiating a contract. Now, I think that this is going to be a little more difficult. Jason Light, over the weekend, talked to Rick Stroud, who covers the team, who Rick told me that they may go into the season and Baker may bet on himself. And they may end up tagging him, which will be $50 million next year for a franchise quarterback. Actually, the Buccaneers have the advantage because they could tag him twice, and he's 31. Baker was offered a contract and rejected it. The base salary was $51 million, and he rejected it. He didn't even give him a counter. Okay? Now, do I think paying Baker Mayfield $55 million? I agree with Leon. Overpaid. No doubt. But we're talking $55 million for Baker Mayfield. We're talking $62 for Burrow. These are just 3 quarterbacks that are working with their organization as we speak. There's many more, except for Hurts. CJ Stroud, according to the NFLPA, Texans repeatedly have proclaimed that he's their guy, but they have yet to do for him what they've done to cornerback Darryl Stingley or defensive end Will Anderson. The challenges at this point comes from putting a number on his second contract. There's a broad range when it comes to the veteran quarterback. Seems that his team and the Texans are far apart. Currently, the number would be lower than it should be for Stroud. The Texans are talking about a $40 to $50 million deal as we speak. That's CJ Stroud. So we have Lamar, we have Burrow, we have Baker, and we have Stroud. currently working on contract extensions and reworking of money. Let's go to another one. Remember, all of you were saying, well, Hurts, no one else. Well, everyone's working their contracts, and there's more. So Caleb Williams and the Bears are now talking. The first overall pick in 24's draft becomes eligible for a new deal at the end of this season. At the end of this year, in March, Caleb Williams can sign a new contract. If that guy balls out this year, you're talking in excess of $60 million at the end of the season. Okay? So keep an eye on that. At the end of the year, if Williams puts that team in the playoffs again, he's going to be also a $60 to $65 million a year quarterback. Who else is working on a deal? Okay. Drake May, player who finished second in the most valuable player award at the regular season of a year ago and took his team to a Super Bowl. Like Tom Brady before, May will be less inclined to break the bank and more inclined to be around the feasible line of around $55 million. He is eligible for a new contract at the end of the 26th season. So, Caleb Williams and Drake May, at the end of this year, will be in line for a brand new contract. Jaden Daniels. Like Williams, Daniels becomes eligible for a new deal after the 26th season. So think about this. At the end of the year, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, at the end of this year, will be in line for potentially north of $60 million deals. Now, Jaden Daniels has issues because of health. Okay? All of these contracts, these are the next guys up. All right? There's another one. Bo Nix. Bo Nix window likewise opens after the 26th season. Do you realize where Jalen is going to be, Hurts, at the end of this year with all these contracts? You're going to be paying Jalen Hurts $66 million, $64 million? Never happened. Sam Darnold. Darnold signed a 3-year, $105 million contract in 25. Was structured to give the Seahawks an escape hatch after 1 year. He wasn't forced to force the team back to the table, and he hasn't since he won the Super Bowl. With $27.5 million in base and $5 million in incentives, Darnold would be justified to seek a new contract, and he may wait until the end of the season. Regardless, a new contract is coming, and the Seahawks have actually sat down with him and wanted to deliver a new contract. All those guys, according to the NFLPA, where's Hurts? The Eagles told Nicole Lynn, no. We're not in that window right now. All those players are going to be negotiating contracts as the season starts. Every single one of them that we just mentioned. And you ask yourself, are you really going to pay a quarterback like Hurts, who's limited in skill as a player, the money that those guys are going to command? We'll see. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And for the record, Howie's lack of actions show it. Seals, if Hurts doesn't need to reset the market, he will receive compensation This was planned all along. Jalen Hurts was the highest paid player in the National Football League, my friend. He wasn't giving a hometown discount to anybody. That is a made-up thing. I heard him say, it's not important for him to have the all-time. Well, he was the number one highest paid player. Also, Sills, look at these kids today from college coming up. They can read defenses. Okay? Eagles signed Jalen Hurts after the 22 Super Bowl loss. Come Pats don't sign Drake May because he's not eligible until after 26. Because he was drafted in 24. He's not eligible. He'll be eligible after this year. There's your answer. Why are you all mad at Sills? It's the Eagles offense, people. So these quarterbacks you're naming, how many do represent Nicole Lynn? I'll get back to you on that. It's important, too. That's a great call. Let's take a look at that. I'll just type that in. How many current NFL quarterbacks? How many current NFL QBs are repped by Nicole Lynn? Let's see. So let's go down the list here. Let's see. I don't think she represents another quarterback. But Clutch Sports does. And she's the president of Clutch. She represents Hurts, Will Anderson, Myles Garrett, Quinnen Williams. Let's go Clutch Sports. How many quarterbacks in the NFL does her agency, which she's the president of, how many NFL quarterbacks, QBs, are represented by Clutch Sports? Let's see here. I don't think Clutch Sports represents a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, I don't see a lot of QBs. I think Hurts is the only guy. That tells you a lot. Clutch doesn't represent only but one quarterback. Like Jimmy Sexton, that's odd. How many NFL quarterbacks are represented by Jimmy Sexton? Quarterbacks are represented by Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton, it represents 15 to 25 starting NFL quarterbacks, which most notably redid Matthew Stafford's deal. The guy who has all the quarterbacks is Jimmy Sexton. He's the guy that handles all of it. Seals, you really think Burrow ends up in Philly? Why not? Jimmy Sexton represents 20 starting quarterbacks in his agency. 20 of the 32 starting quarterbacks that agency represents. 32. 32. Wow. That's a lot. 20 of the starting 32 QBs. Let's see here. Not like there's thousands of quarterbacks in the NFL. No, but when 20 starting quarterbacks are represented by one firm, you're right. You're right. Clutch Sports is like I believe that's Clutch Sports is like Maverick Carter, I think, started that, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy that's with the Knicks now, and Rich Paul and those guys and LeBron back in the day, that's like LeBron's group. They started this agency, and LeBron, Maverick Carter, Leon Rose, you know the guy who's now running the Knicks? He started this agency back in the day. And like I thought Worldwide West, but West was with CAA. And you're right. Clutch is mostly hoop because of LeBron and Leon Rose. Is Hurts the best quarterback in Eagle history? No. The most talented is McNabb and maybe Randall Cunningham. The most accomplished is clearly Jalen Hurts. But that's like saying that Jalen Brunson is a better ball player than Patrick Ewing. He's not. He's not a better player than Patrick Ewing. But what I think he's done, he puts himself in a conversation as one of the best of all time. But if you're a quarterback, you going to Jimmy Sexton or Lynn? I'm going to Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton is going to get you the most money, not Nicole Lynn. There's a reason you have 20 starting quarterbacks with Sexton and one with her. The entire agency only has one starting quarterback, unless you count Bailey Zappi. I mean, Jimmy Sexton is a football agent. If I'm not mistaken, I think that Sexton started with Robert Fraley. Did Sexton? Who was his partner? Who was Sexton's partner when he became an agent? It could have been Tom Condon. That's right. Jimmy Sexton represented Reggie White. And that's how Reggie White. That's right. It was Robert Fraley. You guys know who Robert Fraley was? I almost went with Robert Fraley. That's right. While Sexton was still a college student, Agent Robert Fraley and Coach Pepper Rogers represented Reggie White. And then after that, Sexton came aboard. Do you guys know what happened to Robert Fraley? He was one of the greatest agents of all time. He represented many of the coaches like Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. If you guys remember what happened to him, Robert Fraley got on an airplane with Payne Stewart. Got on an airplane with Payne Stewart. The airplane was leaking gas into the cabin, and Robert Fraley was on that airplane with Payne Stewart that crashed in that Iowa field. He represented so many NFL coaches and so many people. And he was on that airplane with Payne Stewart. That was that went down. Remember the Air Force guys came up next to it and everybody was passed out? Robert Fraley was one of the guys on that airplane. That was script from dude, I mean, remember it just ran out of gas and it crashed into an Iowa field. But that's what Jimmy Sexton went to work for Fraley and those guys, and he picked up his clients after that, actually. Cabin pressure. Seals, I try to be a realist. The Eagles are preparing right now life after Hurts in 26. I'm grateful for Hurts and what he's accomplished. Just don't know who will be the quarterback in 27. Yeah, I don't know either. It might be him. It might be, dude. Okay? It just might. Let me double check that there. Yeah, it just might be. So let me see here. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, good. Yeah, I saw this story. It was really sad. How about that guy, Aldon Smith? Does anybody know how many sacks he had in his first 2 years? I think he had in his first 2 years 40-some sacks. I think it was 19 and then 15. I think he had 34 sacks in his first 2 years. Guy was a great football player. So I know this is football, but are you going to watch? Yeah, I've been watching the World Cup. I have been. Yeah, over 33 sacks. The guy, it was incredible. If Lamar doesn't figure his future with the Ravens, would you take him in Philly if Hurts bombs in 26? Yeah. Dude, Lamar Jackson is a generational talent. Just couldn't get off the field, Sills. Yeah. Just couldn't get it right off the field. Had a hard time showing up to the stadium. Correct. You're right. Flexing. Just a tremendous football player. Like, look at his numbers here. Look at Aldon Smith. By the way, I heard he died in his car delivering a pizza to, like, these homeless kids. And he struggled with addiction. Listen to his stats. How crazy they were. What a shame. I mean, you talk about a guy who just couldn't get over his addiction. His first 2 years, San Francisco, 14 and 19 and a half sacks. First team All-Pro in his second season. After that, he went to 8.5, 2, because he was suspended, then 3.5, and was suspended from NFL football for 1, 2, 3, 4. And in his final year in Dallas, he got suspended after this. He had 5 sacks in 16 games. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons, he had 52 and a half sacks. Dude, I'd sign that guy now if he were alive. How old is he when he passed? So in 20, he was 31. What was he, like 36? Dude, the guy was a better pass rusher than Brandon Graham. I mean, he was a better pass rusher than Brandon Graham. Sills, would you say Jimmy Johnson was harder on you and Jerome because he played DT in college? Absolutely. Yes. But you ever notice how great his DTs were? Inside defensive tackle play, both with the Cowboys and at University of Miami. That's why those Russell Marylands, Cortez Kennedys, Jerome Browns, all those guys were there, was because of that. Absolutely. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check here. Let me hit this here. Yeah, on the 25th. I think that's when Jerome died, 92. I agree, Sells. Lamar is more talented than Hurts in every facet of the game, but Hurts wins and Lamar does choke. It's an interesting debate. Well, here. I've always said this about Jalen over Lamar. I think he's a smarter football player. I do. I think he presses. I think he presses in big games. And I think Hurts, the one thing you could say about those shitty numbers that he has in many of the playoff games outside of those Super Bowls, those numbers are not great. He's had, 9 postseason games? They're not exceptional. The NFC title game, I think, was very good. The 2 Super Bowls, the one he lost was better. The rest of them have been average to below average. But if you want to put in context that, you could put it this way. Well, he allows the team around him to excel. Whereas Lamar thinks he's got to carry the weight of the team on his back. And if you feel you have to carry the weight of the team like Allen does in Buffalo, you're going to make mistakes. It's not an excuse. That's called seeing the game better. I think Jalen Hurts sees the game better than Josh Allen. He's not a better talent. He'll never be. But there's more to it than that. Aaron Rodgers is a more skilled player than Tom Brady. You know, I don't usually ever agree with Ryan Clark. But Tom Brady and Peyton Manning aren't generational players. They're not. Generational are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, John Elway, Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes. That's generational talent. Well, that doesn't always win titles. Tom Brady is by far a more savant quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. He is. He is a – how about this? Tom Brady is a better play caller in game than Aaron Rodgers is. The plays that Brady thinks wins, he's smarter than Rodgers. Brady's like his own OC. Where's the ball going to be? Brady knows where to go with the football before the snap of the football. And his job is to move people away to create more space for his players. That's something Hurts will never do and never be. Okay? I'm not sure Allen will ever do that. I mean, if Brady knows where the free safety is, you know what he's going to do? He's going to set up that free safety to create more space for Amendola and Edelman or Moss to have more big play capabilities after the throw. So what does he do? He's moving the defense around. He's isolating on one side of the field. You know how many quarterbacks can do that? A handful. Stafford's like one of the only guys that can do that. I'm not sure that Lamar can do that. Okay? That has nothing to do with who sounds smarter. That has nothing to do with it. Hurts is not going to make the mistake. Lamar is going to force the ball in to make mistakes. Sounding? What's that got to do with actual smarts? So according to you, if a guy is mute and he can't speak, he's dumb. Okay, sure. Aaron Rodgers did have a better whatever guy. These people in here are ridiculous. I feel like Peyton was a generational talent too. He had no arm, and he had to work at his game. Brady was old school in a new school offense, field general. Yeah. Well, you had the greatest defensive coordinator helping him with all of that. Brady's sack rate and mobile guy is 4.42 over his entire career. That's incredible. Yeah, Tom Brady's not taking sacks. If you notice Tom Brady's not taking sacks and interceptions. Hurts will take a sack. That's why he averages 44 a year. Seals Cunningham was a generational talent. He changed the quarterback position in the NFL. Then Vic followed. I have argued many about Randall one day Hall of Fame. I just don't think the numbers are there. All these mobile quarterbacks use their athleticism to create and extend plays where quarterbacks like Brady use cerebral and intelligence to outsmart the defense. And I think that's how you win. I think you win Super Bowls from the pocket, not the perimeter. And the majority of the time, those guys don't have like long windows. I said this from the day you guys put Jalen Hurts in as a starter in 21. That window's not going to be for a long time. If you get, I said this back in the day, if you get 8 years out of Jalen and you get a couple Super Bowls, it's an absolutely tremendous achievement. Get this, see this? Hurts is one of the worst quarterbacks from the pocket in the NFL as a team that's a contender. He's terrible. What was generational about Peyton throwing the ball? Nothing. His brain and being able to process his physical attributes, he couldn't jump over a stack of quarters. Sills, there are some agents that get paid days. I don't think Lynn is that. She accepts shit like Clutch and Sexton and Drew won't and don't. You're correct. Hurts is not a pocket passer. Okay? Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl starting in the Chiefs' red zone on half the possessions. He's not a pocket passer. Never has been. That's why the offenses blow. Cam Newton was through by the time he was 30. He never developed into an elite quarterback. He did win the MVP award. Okay? He did. He won the Most Valuable Player award. Look, I'm not debating this with you guys about Hurts in the pocket. They're terrible in the pocket. Sills, if Lamar was on the Eagles the last 5 years, how many Super Bowls do you think he would have won? One? Maybe one? And it depends who's coaches. If it's Kevin Patullo, no. If it's an experienced OC, yeah. Let me ask you this. So, you guys mentioned Peyton Manning. He had Tom Moore. For 10 years. Mahomes has Andy Reid pretty much his entire career. Tom Brady had Josh McDaniels pretty much his entire career, right? He has Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford now. Look at the coaches that these quarterbacks, who are some of the best throwers in the league, have had. Look at who Hurts has had. Kevin Patullo, Sean Mannion. These people are nobodies. And Brian Johnson. Those three dudes are nobodies. They're like nobody coordinators. When you're comparing them against Josh McDaniels and some of these other guys, those guys are nobodies. That's correct. And Roethlisberger had Bruce Arians as a coordinator. That's correct. Tom Moore's offense was 15 pass plays, and Peyton went to the line with 3 options, which he chose based on coverage. That's being able to understand and being a guy who can process. Correct. Okay? Sirianni brought a version of Tom Moore's offense to Philly in 21, and Jalen couldn't run it. No, because it's a traditional drop-back offense. We're going to do our bold predictions here at the top of the hour here in a minute. Let's see. The worst thing that could have happened to Hurts is that he went to the Super Bowl twice. It's not the worst. Now, he and most people believe he doesn't have to be better. Hurts must take responsibility for his ineptitude. Well, I think the Eagles are doing that. Thank you, Mikey. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Hurts was the leading rusher in the Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl from the pocket. He ran through the blitz. He didn't set protections from it. I saw something here too. Hurts has his best numbers passing from the pocket. How do people discredit it? His best numbers from the pocket. I mean, his best numbers from the pocket, and it's a bottom 10 passing offense. How is that possible? And I pointed this out to you before. Jalen Hurts in 2,400 passes, 2,400 passes, has 87 passes to the middle of the field. How's that possible? Many passes. Hurts thrown to the middle of the field. Last 5 years. Excuse me, 99 passes. Okay? 99 passes since he first started out of 2,400 passes. You're telling me he wins from the pocket? So let me ask you this. If you're building a game plan against Jalen Hurts, where's the one place you know out of 2,500, 2,400 passes that he's not going to go? Correct, Stephen. It's predictable. That's what's happened here. I don't give a shit if he's got an 81% completion percentage on what those phony-ass numbers that M. Reyes is throwing out. He's predictable as a player. He's predictable. What did Cam do outside of his MVP season? He had good seasons, but he didn't sustain it. He regressed. But to be fair, his receivers weren't great. True. Both are true. Not predictable anymore. Based on what? Based on what? Like I said, ask yourself this. 99 passes. How many passes has Jalen Hurts actually thrown in his career? Let me double check that again so that we're all fair here. 99 passes. And if he's so great at it, why don't they threaten the middle of the field more? Because they know he can't. Here. Jalen's thrown for 2,393 on 2,400 passes. 100 of them have been to the middle. Now, when you're putting a game plan together, my friends, it's not that hard to figure out where he's going. Unless you're an idiot. Less than 5% of his throws go to the middle of the field. If you're a defensive coordinator, how in God's name are you not calling that predictable? He's going to the numbers or throwing it away. To the numbers and throwing it away. That's why they're changing the offense. And that's why they've added all this new wrinkles to it. He's terrible at throwing the ball. How can you be a West Coast offense or a West Coast offensive passing attack when you don't threaten the hash marks? Seals, no AJ, no pressure. They don't want Hurts to fail on paper. No proven wide receiver one gives him Josh Allen excuses. There's no excuses, dude. They're a lesser football team. That's not an excuse. That's a reality. You call that an excuse? Nobody in the league is Patrick Mahomes and can win with Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay? Nobody. Mahomes is generational talent. He can win Super Bowls with Juju Smith-Schuster. Hurts is predictable as a NASCAR race. Hurts gets OC fired every year. People got to get under center for a change. That's going to be interesting to see this year for sure. Yeah, Mahomes is 101. Like Brady was 101. Brady, like I said, Brady didn't have superstar wide receivers ever that won him Super Bowls except in Tampa. That's it. JD, I missed your super. Let me go back. Let's see here. JD, gotcha. Okay, Lamar has always been a better football player than pure quarterback. He's a weapon, but just like Hurts, the ability with your legs ages terribly. Yes. Lamar's contract will look terrible in a year or so. Maybe. Without AJ, if Hurts doesn't use the middle of the field, then the offense is cooked. Lemon will get no opportunities. All right. So I want to go to this topic now. I got to tell you, I got to tell you, I don't believe Jalen Carter is going to show up for fall practice and participate in all the drills. Both Lamar and Josh Allen won MVPs with no true number one receiver. Elite quarterbacks can mask deficiencies in their offense. That's correct. Boy, I'll tell you, the more I talk to those folks down in South Florida, they are not happy with the Eagles. They are not happy. And would it be beneath Drew Rosenhaus to demand a trade? No. Now, according to them dudes, they are not happy. But Brady Mahomes had Hall of Fame tight ends most of their careers. Correct. And by the way, that's called threatening the middle of the field. Drew Rosenhaus may hold this guy out of a lot of the training camp this fall. I'm telling you, I know how that guy works. I told you you'd have a tough putt signing Jalen Phillips. And it turned out to be true. I know Rosenhaus 40 plus years. And I know how he thinks. Okay? And they're not happy with the fifth-year option. They're just not. Telling you, right now, there's a great optic that he may end up holding out and show up so he doesn't get fined, but not participate in many of the drills. Be prepared for this. That's correct. Rosenhaus is a hardball player, man. He's not going to waffle through a season and not get the money. He is not. He does not deserve to get paid. And the Eagles have the leverage. I get Drew is doing his job, but this is the wrong year to go to Philly and ask for 40. Guys, they want 35 and north of that money. They want to be paid next to what Myles Garrett and what Will Anderson made. What year was Carter drafted? He went 9th, right? JC's not worth $40 million. he hadn't shown it. DeJean and Mitchell deserve to get paid more than Carter. Correct. 2023. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. Okay. So in the 2023 draft, who was in that draft? On why Will Anderson. Oh, I just gave it away. Will Anderson was in that draft. They want that money. They want money like that. They want to reset the market. He's not getting 50, but he wants to reset the market like Will Anderson did. Okay? They want to reset it. They want to put it at 40, 35 to $40 million. And the Eagles have no intentions of doing that. So, Rosenhaus is going to sit this guy's ass out. I feel that this is coming. I've seen Drew do this. He did it with Sapp and the Buccaneers. How do you think Sapp got to the Raiders? Okay, how do you think Sapp got to the Raiders? The Bucs didn't want to pay a number. Rosenhaus said, well, my client's not playing. And he sat him out. And he went to the Raiders and got his money. Again, see this here? That's irrelevant showing up to workouts. When you start doing team activities and you're involved in team and getting ready, that's when you know that a guy's, dude, it was a hold-in. He does this shit all the time. Reyes, you don't really know Drew Rosenhaus. Don't pretend like you do. I know how he handles agents. I'll give you a for instance here. How many Miami Hurricanes? How many Miami Hurricanes has Drew Rosenhaus represented? Shit, Robert Bailey works with him. It was the Miami Hurricane and he represented. He has represented over 110 Miami Hurricane players. I know who this guy is. Drew Rosenhaus has represented over 110 Miami Hurricanes. And I know all those guys are my friends. And I know exactly how he deals with them. D-Jack's last player to get the tag under Howie, I think. If he's a guy that can win the Defensive Player of the Year, he's worth it. Who said he's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year? Just because you have the capabilities of winning the Defensive Player of the Year. We just got through talking about Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith also had the abilities to win the Defensive Player of the Year. Sometimes showing up to the ballpark is one of the most important things, dude. Sills, did you see the story about Hurts' inner circle not being happy about the way the Eagles did not defend Jalen after the article came out? It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the future. I did. Nobody in here believed it. Thinks that everybody loves Jalen Hurts inside the locker room. That article's bullshit, I'm sure. Okay? If I'm Howie, I'd trade JC and pay Coop and DeJean and those guys' characters never questioned. And no doubt team guys. Seals, reports of Eagles being cautious with Carter along with reports of hold-in. Hard to know who to believe. Well, you can believe that's listen, once again, just do this. And we did it a little bit last week, in case some of you weren't here. Does Drew Rosenhaus use the hold-in technique during contract negotiations. Yes. Here's examples. Yes, Drew Rosenhaus frequently uses hold-in or hold techniques during contract negotiations to force teams to renegotiate deals for his clients who are seeking better pay. Chris Jones. Rosenhaus is the architect of the defensive tackle's highly publicized, financially taxing hold-in with the Kansas City Chiefs, ultimately resulting in a reworked contract. Terrell Owens. One of Rosenhaus's most infamous contract disputes involved holding Owens out and making demands from the Eagles, culminating in a dramatic press conference, eventually trade to the Dallas Cowboys. And here's what it is that Drew does. And by the way, Rosenhaus represents Chris Jones. Guess who the highest paid defensive tackle in pro football is? It's Chris Jones at $31 million. He reps Chris Jones. You don't think he wants to get him paid more than Chris Jones? Okay? They don't and are pissed with the fifth-year option. Carter, fifth-year option is 28. They're not happy with the fifth-year option. Seals, if Rosenhaus looks after his players, which I agree, sitting Carter, I think hurts him more than helping him. Why not tell a player to go out and kick ass and prove your value? Why would I do that when I could tell you I don't want to risk injuries or getting hurt or bad tape? I want my money now. I've been in 2 NFC title games. By the way, I've been on number 1 defense in pro football. I've been on and worked with Vic Fangio here. And our performance a couple of years ago, Jalen Hurts deserves shit. So do I. That's how I would look at it. Hey, I had a down year. That entire offense had a down year. Don't just look at me. Hurts played like shit. AJ, Devontae, Lane, Mulata, Cam, Landon, Barkley. Don't talk shit to me. That's what I'd be saying. And like Hyper says, 2 Pro Bowls? You got to get your shit together here, guy. We played like a top 10 defense last year. And I was banged up because you couldn't get anybody to help me because you had no depth behind me. So at the end of the day, don't talk shit to me. Give me my money. Well, here's your 5th-year option. Fuck that. Give me a 3-year contract and guaranteed money. I want it well north of Chris Jones. That's how these guys are talking and thinking. Those guys aren't sitting around going, well, with the Eagles, and I'm going to, give them a home. That stuff's stupid. It's ridiculous. If you're the highest paid player, it only lasts a year or 2. Or send his ass to Cleveland at 35 annual? All right. Hey, dude, I'm not loyal to you. I'm loyal to my direct deposit. I think that's what the fans don't understand. These players are not loyal to an organization who's looking to get a cheaper deal. Howie's looking to get a better deal for his club and his owner. Drew Rosenhaus is doing the same. Don't begrudge the game or the player. Hate the game. see here. Well, this explains why JC's name keeps popping up in high-profile trades. I'm sure the asking price has been known. His first contract after the rookie contract is the most important contract for a player. Yeah. Excuse me. I chip his ass to Vegas with his buddy, N'Kobe Dean, in exchange for Max Crosby. I wouldn't doubt if that conversation has been broached. He also spit on someone as well. Another characteristic, trust me, I love Carter. Is he mature enough to change and be a better man and disciplined? Hey, look, you're not going to win championships with choir boys at the end of the day. I just want you to be a decent dude. Okay? Seals, make sure you have your diaper on. Seals, whatever. Make sure you have your diaper on when works to tear in the middle of the field up. You mean like what? Their 22nd ranked run defense? Dude, they didn't stop anybody stopping a run. I think I ran over last year in that run defense. And I know the famous comments, Vic doesn't give a shit about run defense. Really? And that's why the Bears beat the piss out of you. They're 22nd in run defense. The issue with the salary cap is players just increase their pay instead of keeping it the same and building better rosters with more money, so it always is the same. Literally, the first two plays, Ben Van injured, Carter getting suspended before the first snap. It kind of did set your season up. Yeah, listen, dude, don't put it past Drew Rosenhaus to hold that guy out for training camp. Do not. He did it to Chris Jones. And if the Eagles thought, and get this, Jordan Davis, I mean, what's odd about that whole deal is that, and by the way, I've given you examples of Drew holding people out. At least 6 guys he did this to. Okay? I've shown, and plus the highest paid D tackle. Rosenhaus represents Chris Jones. You think he's going to go back to Jalen Carter and get him less money than Chris Jones? No. Jalen Carter would fire Rosenhaus. You mean to tell me I didn't get past Chris Jones? How old is Chris Jones, too? How old is that guy? How old is Chris Jones? 32? He's 31. And July 3rd, he'll turn 32. He'll be 32 years old heading into the football season. 32. And Carter's not going to get a contract? Oh, and by the way, you guys kept telling me this past offseason, well, we got to get rid of all these players like Sweat and Milton and all these guys because we got to pay Jalen Carter. They're not paying Jalen Carter this money that Rosenhaus wants. Dude, I don't think there's a huge possibility of him being traded. I think it's 70-30. that Jalen Carter could be traded by the beginning of the year. I mean, Drew Rosenhaus is either going to get his way and get close to what he wants, or he's going to demand a trade. I know this guy. Plus, his name's been floated out, and that the Eagles have been floating his name out in potential trade for those big-name guys. Don't put it past Drew Rosenhaus. He's capable of anything. I just don't think the Eagles know if Eagles trust Jalen Carter enough to give him that contract. Let me ask you this, though, Big Cells. Would you trade Carter to the Titans for Jeffrey Simmons? I don't want to trade the guy for the same guy, and the same guy's older. I think Simmons is a great football player, but you're giving me back the same guy, a little older. I don't know. That seems like less than a lateral move. If I'm going to move Jalen Carter, I want it to give me something tangible. Give me Joe Burrow. Let me trade you and my 2028 first-round pick for Joe Burrow. I don't know. Like that. Think like that. Don't think like giving away an Acura Legend for a Ferrari. Keep up the good work, Sills. Even if we disagree at times, I respect your knowledge and show. Thank you so much, my friend. That's a really cool comment. Listen, hold on. I saw something back here. Guy back here says that the Eagles aren't trading. That they're not trading Jalen Carter. That's not, I agree with you. I didn't really think the Eagles wanted to trade A.J. Brown. That doesn't mean that Rosenhaus is not going to go in and go, we demand a trade. Drew Rosenhaus wants a 3-year contract extension right now. Not next year. Now. Because he knows the deals are coming up for Hurts, Q, and Cooper. And he knows that the other guys will be a priority over him. Would you not agree? Let me give you these names next year that are eligible for contract extensions. And I want you to rank them. Okay? Rank them. Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, or Jalen Hurts. Rank those 4 guys that Howie's got to address next year as a priority. And I'll take whatever you guys say. Give me those 4 players and rank them in order next year in contract extensions. Q, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, and Jalen Hurts. Even if you went here, Carter's third. Carter's third. Carter's fourth. He moves down the pecking order of priority. Right now, he's a priority. He won't be next year. Not the priority. God forbid you get you guys' wish and Jalen Hurts has 4,200 passing yards and 35 touchdowns. Carter's gone. You're going to pay a guy $60 million and then turn around and pay Jalen Carter 3 years, $37 million? Pay $100 million in 2 guys? No fucking way when you've got Mitchell and Cooper still out there to be paid. No way. Those guys are going to command 30 large apiece. This is why Rosenhaus wants that. Oh, and by the way, put this into context again, too. What if your boy goes out this year, Devontae Smith, and he gets 1,500 yards receiving and 10 or 11 touchdowns and 115 catches? What if he's all pro? He's going to come back to the table with his agent and go, I want to make $40 million like the rest of these number one guys. Where are you getting that? Dude, the cap is going up. You know the problem with the Eagles? You guys got a lot of talented guys that they've let roll up. If Carter doesn't get done this offseason, it won't get done. You got two. Hey, if some of you say this is a 13-win season, see this guy? If this guy thinks that they have a 13, 14-win season, that means Jalen Hurts had a great year. You're going to address his contract. That means Devontae Smith's going to need a restructure. That's going to mean you're going to sit there and talk. See this? 14 wins means this. Hurts gets 60. Devontae's going to want a new extension and readdressing the contract. And you haven't even got to the defense yet. Shit, Devontae Smith gets 1,500 yards this year by some of you guys. Carter becomes the 5th most important offseason sign. Rosenhaus knows this. I know how Robert Bailey and those guys think. You may think they want to wait and go into this year. How he knows what is on the horizon for the Eagles and what they've got to do. He doesn't give a shit about the Eagles. He cares about his client, Jalen Carter. Think he gives a shit? He didn't even give the Eagles an opportunity to match Jalen Phillips. He didn't even visit teams. He did a couple Zooms and went right to Jalen Phillips and said this, 4 years, 30 large. Sign here. And he did. They didn't even contact the Eagles again. Because he knew the Eagles weren't going to go there. Why waste our energy? And Jalen Phillips didn't give a shit. Why would he? Sills, I don't give a shit about the consequences of a great season. I'm a fan. I want to watch a great season. It's going to be an interesting one. I said this before. Robert Bailey's the one negotiating Jalen Carter's contract. That's the agent. Him and Drew are working it. Robert Bailey represents Jalen Carter. I don't give a shit about Robert Bailey. Robert Bailey is the agent who's the front man on it. Rosenhaus is the closer. Once again, not knowing what you're talking about and how these people work. Let me see. How many guys does he have? How many players? Oh, by the way, you think the name, how do you think the name Tyreek Hill was mentioned with Philly as a 50% chance of signing Tyreek Hill? What do you think? How did that happen? Hey, Spit, how do you think that happened? It's not false. Dude, Robert Bailey was a teammate of mine. Who do you think represented? Tyreek Hill is represented by Robert Bailey and also Drew Rosenhaus. In the contract negotiations that are going on with the Eagles on Jalen Carter, they threw Tyreek Hill's name into the mix. And if he's healthy, he's going to come in for a workout over these next 39 days. I already know that on good source. The Eagles are going to work out Tyreek Hill. That doesn't mean he's going to sign, but they're going to work out. And by the way, the Eagles would show good faith in negotiating with Drew if you worked him out. Why not? If we were to trade for Burrow at some point, how concerned would you be about the injuries? Not very. He wouldn't be dealing with the 30th worst offensive line every year like he is now. Small receivers and short quarterback. Good luck run blocking. It's going to be a disaster. Well, you're a finesse team now. You lost AJ. You're not a finessing passing team. I wouldn't look at Devontae and being a finesse passing team. Hill isn't coming to Philly. I didn't say he was. I said there's a great chance he'll work out for you. I didn't say his character would fit Philly. I'm telling you that Drew represents him, and his name has now been floated around as potentially being a guy who would play in Philadelphia. Why? Well, Rosenhaus is negotiating a contract with Jalen Carter. Guys don't get the game. How agents and everyone talk. Here, listen. You call up Howie Roseman. I'm going to get to Z in a minute. You call up Howie Roseman. Go, hey, I'd like to get a conversation going on Jalen Carter, but get this. Tyreek Hill's doing really well. What do you think taking a look at him? Yeah. All right. Let me know what his physicals are. Set him up. We'll take a look. And if we want to bring him in for a workout, now again, you know why that's a problem? He's a high-profile name. So if you bring him in for a workout, just like Odell Beckham when he went up to New York, that's going to raise eyebrows. Here, get this. How old is Hill? 33? 33 years old with a guy running a 4.2 40 coming off a knee injury. Let's hypothetically say he doesn't run a 4.2 40 anymore, and he runs a 4.4. Okay. All right. 3 years ago, he was voted the best player in the National Football League. All right. Woo-wee! Sometimes there's an offseason, and sometimes there's a big-time offseason. And my guy, Big Z, he ain't got no offseason. A big week for my man here. And without further ado, all the storylines that you need. And by the way, we're going to have our Big Sills bold predictions today, and the Book of Z will be out again like it was a year ago. Without further ado, my guy, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
What'd you make of that Knicks? What'd you make of the Knicks winning the NBA championship?
It was a great team. They deserved it. They played hard. Fun team to watch, Sills, and I'm a fan of those players, man. I like some of those players. I like watching them play, and I think New York is a little bit obnoxious in the way the city was all messed up, but it is what it is. You see a lot of that, but congrats to them. It's a big one for them, and Jalen Brunson, well-deserved for all of his accomplishments. Pretty good final, and then I also watched the Stanley Cup final last night, and I love Torts, but boy, that team last night looked horrible.
It did.
That Vegas team. I mean, just turning the puck over left and right, being too cute. I mean, get the puck on net, drive, a lot of problems for me in that game last night. I had agita watching the Vegas Knights last night, but congrats to Carolina. That team embodies their coach, Rod Brindamore. They embody their coach very well. So pretty good stuff there.
It's only the 7th time in NHL Stanley Cup Finals history that a player won a cup and also a ring in the cup as a player and coach. It's just the 7th time, and the last time that happened was 1956 with Toe Blake with the Montreal Canadiens.
That's pretty amazing, man. That's pretty amazing for sure.
And believe me, that guy has an attitude like Philly. You know, it's funny. When I think of Rod Brindamore, I think of Philadelphia, dude.
Well, he started it. Well, he didn't start here. He got drafted. Where did he get drafted? The Blues?
Maybe.
The Blues for, I think, 2 years, and then he got traded to Philly. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Flyers traded him away for Keith Primo.
Yeah, that's right.
A classic Flyers move.
That's exactly what happened.
The Flyers never make the right move. Yeah, who's the other guy? They got rid of Shane.
I think Hextall did that move.
They got rid of Shane Gostisbehere, too. That guy's an unbelievable defenseman. And now the Flyers, hey, get rid of Shane Gostisbehere. Where are my Flyers fans? Can your team do anything right? Can they make any decision right? I mean, they make every wrong. If there's a wrong decision possible, they make it. It's unbelievable with that team.
Z, what do you make of this, man? Bleeding Green. Some close to Jalen Hurts feel that the Eagles did not support him enough when some constructive, insightful stories came out this offseason here about some of the deficiencies on the field. No one spoke up publicly on Hurts' behalf as they did Wentz back in 2019. Same guy, by the way, is being credited with this story that actually was right about Carson Wentz back in the day when he put that story out on him. What do you make of that, man?
I mean, it kind of lines up. You know, I mean, don't you remember when this was happening, Sills? And you kept saying on your show, is anybody going to come and defend Jalen Hurts? You know, everybody tiptoed around it like it never happened. I mean, I think that probably tells you maybe a little bit of that. There is some indecision, or there is some, some maybe debate that is happening inside those walls, not with the player walls, but in the front office, you know, and maybe the players too, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to make too much of it. It's, to me, it sounds more like Jalen's camp as opposed to Jalen Hurts. You know, in other words, Nicole Lynn wants everybody to, you know, come and defend Jalen Hurts, which is fine. She's his agent. She's obviously in his corner. So I get it, but not that big of a deal to me. I tell you what, they can't keep the Eagles out of their mouth. All these people, anybody. I mean, there's, you know, it's amazing how much people want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
Bro, it's so easy to get content on this team.
It is. It is. That's really what it seems to come down to. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, how much do you make of it? What is
Can I give you a different view of it?
Sure.
Okay. You know why I think the players don't come forward and respond to some of these stories and some of these wild accusations about Hurts? I think
I guess before you say it.
Yeah.
They believe he's gotten in too much of the credit.
Okay, well, I'll put that over here. I hadn't thought that one.
Okay, well, give me yours then, because I was just guessing what you were thinking.
Okay. I think they know how the front office thinks of him. And so they don't want to come forward and contradict the front office because everything that they have been saying, AJ was saying, they know that the front office thinks that way about him. Could that be?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, you would think so. Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
Well, if one guy, it's Zander, if one guy says something in the building, and all of a sudden I know how his boss thinks truly about that guy, I'm not going to defend him.
Yeah, but those thoughts are only good. They're only going to be a mirror of what somebody thinks. In other words, if somebody on the team thinks the front office thinks a certain way, but they themselves like Jalen or don't think that way, they're not necessarily going to feel that way. If it's a mirror of the way they feel themselves, well, then sure, I think it's accentuated. You know, but I don't necessarily think just because the front office has a certain thought process that means that's going to be what the players. I get where you're coming from, but to me, it's more of a mirror. You know, if a player thinks that too, and then they feel the front office feels it, well, then, yeah, you're probably right. It's a double down, but if they don't, if they like Jalen or they, whatever they think, then I don't think that would be the case. But, I think it's a fair way to look at it.
So I went and looked at all the contracts that are coming up. And guys are talking right now. Lamar Jackson's working on a new $62 million deal. Baker Mayfield's working on a $55 million deal as we speak. Actually, the Houston Texans don't know what number to come in at. 51, 52, a little bit over. Next year, Zander, check this out. You got Caleb Williams. You've got Drake May. You've got Bo Nix. All of these guys are going to be in the mid to high 50s. Are you really going to put Jalen Hurts in a $60 million room as a starting quarterback for the next 3 years after this year?
It's not something I'd be comfortable with, but I don't say that from it's my money. It ain't my money. I don't really care what they pay them, but just
you've got to structure the team.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about I don't necessarily know that committing to that style of play at this point when all they've tried to change, they've showed what they've tried to change. I don't necessarily know that committing to that style of play for the long haul makes sense, especially when you point out some of the other things, Sills, where the offensive line's going to need to be turned over. There's going to be more turnover at tight end. There's going to be more turnover at wide receiver. There's going to be a lot more turnover. So I don't necessarily know that makes sense. But at the same time, the world is still Jalen Hurts' oyster. He can go – if Jalen Hurts goes out there and plays well and delivers the goods, then the answer to that question changes drastically. A guy like M. Reyes will get his way. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to Jalen. If Jalen doesn't play well this year or doesn't elevate the offense this year, the question will answer itself. Who cares what Zander Krause thinks? The question will answer itself. You got to play like an elite quarterback to be paid like an elite quarterback, especially going into another re-up of the contract. I mean, you just said 62 on Lamar. Shit, Lamar's an elite player, but I'm blinking at that. I'm not saying don't give it. I think they should give it probably. They're not going to get better than Lamar Jackson, but I'm blinking at it. I'm certainly blinking at that on Jalen Hurts. So he's got to go out there and earn that, Sills.
Okay. Let's say and do what Reyes and everybody say. Let's just say he plays his ass off. So this coming off season, I want you to rank these guys as a priority for Howie to sign. Q, Cooper, Hurts, and Jalen Carter. And by the way, I could also put a little asterisk in there. If Hurts does everything M. Reyes says and has 1,500 yards, I don't think his agent's not going to come a calling and going, let's up this salary from 25 million.
You mean Devontae? Yeah.
Devontae, I mean. That, hey, let's up this contract here to make it market value here. So, but I'll stick with just those four. If they don't get a contract done with Carter this offseason, rank Q, Cooper, Hurts, and Jalen Carter as a priority for the Philadelphia Eagles come March.
Well, that's tough to do. If they're a defensive football team again this year, like they have been the last 2 years, I think it's Quinion, Carter, Cooper, and Jalen.
If that offense doesn't have any resemblance of getting better, Hurts will be off that list.
That's what I'm saying.
But
now, if they turn it around,
I'm giving the benefit here to M. Reyes' benefit that the kid plays well and gets 4,200 passing yards and 30 touchdowns.
He's not getting 4,200 passing yards.
Okay,
he's not doing that.
If he doesn't improve dramatically, he's off that list, bro. Cooper.
I don't want to set unrealistic thought. I mean, Jalen didn't throw for 4,000 yards when he threw the ball like 550 times in a year
with AJ,
with the 31st ranked defense in the league. I I mean, Jalen's not throwing for 4,200 yards this year. It's just not his game, and the defense is too good for that, guys. I mean,
can I tell you why I think he may? I think you're going to be behind more. You're going to be behind more than you have been in the past. That's why I think those numbers are going to look a little bit conflated.
well, it depends.
I think you're going to be behind. Okay, well, here. See, I'll give you my ranking. And I'll give M. Reyes his kudos here that Hurts plays well. I think it's Q, Cooper, Hurts, and Carter. Do you personally believe, because I'm starting to believe from what I'm hearing with the Rosenhaus folks, you think he has some type of holdout this coming fall, yes or no?
Who, Jalen Carter?
Yeah.
I'm going to lean no. I think he's going to be unhappy, though. I don't think he holds out, though.
Even when Rosenhaus held out Chris Jones to get the most contract, to get the most money. And
Chris Jones, dude, was much more proven of a player.
Yeah, but
Drew was going to fight for Carter, but Drew's also smart enough to know that Jalen doesn't have that level of pedigree right now.
Well, they're not happy.
All right, dude. Yeah, well, they're making $27 million fully guaranteed on a 5th-year option. Go and fucking earn it.
That's not how they're looking at it.
You're not happy. I don't give a shit that you're not happy.
Okay, if I place it this way to you. Okay, if I place it this way. Well, shit, dude. The years that I've been in Philadelphia, I've never missed the playoffs. We've won 2 NFC titles. My defense was number 1 ranked. I've been to the Pro Bowl 2 times. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I would pull up the Bears tape and say, I watched this dude throw you on your ass like you were a rag doll.
Okay. Well, my shoulders were hurt because you are out there playing me 1,100 fucking snaps.
Okay. Now I want to pay you for it for the future.
Okay.
You say it all the time. Contracts are for future play.
Okay.
And every time the Eagles have back paid somebody, it burnt them. They did the same thing with Saquon Barkley. I'm not paying. Carter got 24 Carter was paid for by a first-round draft choice. That's what that was. If you want to get paid in 26, 27, and 28, you better play good now.
Hey, Drew, you see how he's talking to me here? I'm not feeling the love. I want you to fucking step on this guy's dick or tell him this. Trade my ass.
Okay, good. I'll pay Moro with Jomo and go get a first-round pick for your ass and reload my defense even more.
No problem.
Done.
That's how they think.
Eagles got the leverage.
They do.
Moro with Jomo gives the Eagles more leverage in that discussion than people are thinking.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, they're not going to take that fucking kind of conversation, but you're not. I'm not saying you're wrong, dude. I'm with you. But I know. I know how those guys think.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I also think that they are realists in behind the scenes. You know, Drew might be telling Jalen, I'm fighting for you. But when Jalen says to him, should we sit out? I think Drew's going to look at him and say, Jalen, I think that's going to do more harm than good. Let's play on this $27 million deal and go play your ass off. And then we're going to get you the highest paid defensive tackle money in the history of pro football.
They want that deal now.
He hasn't earned that deal yet, dude.
They think he has.
No, they don't think that. They don't.
2 Pro Bowls, 2 NFC titles in 3 years.
He's not even an all-pro. You want to pay him like the greatest in the history?
Well, I'll tell you what, his tier paid him that 5th-year option at 20.
Well, you thought Micah Parsons got overpaid. He was
not
an all-pro.
You're wrong. I'm talking the other side here, how they're looking. I know Robert Bailey.
Just saying, man. I mean, who was a pro? Look, we could pull up the list of Pro Bowlers last year and call out 20 of them.
Jeffrey Simmons was a better player last year.
I mean, who was the quarterback a couple years ago that made a Pro Bowl that was egregious?
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. This is it with the Pro Bowls. If you want to be an all-pro 2 times in your rookie contract, you would have already been paid. You know, Carter's a great player, and I think he's got a great upside. But when you're talking about paying somebody $40 million or the top of the market money, breaking the bank, the highest paid DT in the history of pro football, sorry, I need to see a little more. I like Jalen Carter, guys, but I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't seen that yet.
What's the number you'd land on right now if you were going to pay him in 26?
Meaning right now?
Yeah. Remember, 30? It's got to be north of 28.
31 or 32?
31 or 32? Hold on here. Drew Rosenhaus represents Chris Jones, who's 31 years old and makes $31 million right now. And he's going to be 32 July 3rd. I mean, if it's market value we're talking about, you want me to take a contract that's less than market value?
Well, I don't think that's less than market value, son. You're not better than Chris Jones.
I'm the next guy up. Wait, I'm the next. I don't think that Trevor.
That's why John told me Carter's camp laughed at 32. They're not taking it.
They're not. They laughed at it.
So, stalemate, my friend. Go play your 4th year on the deal. I got you under contract for a 5th year, too, at 27, fully guaranteed. If you play great, the world is all, it's all in front of you, Jalen.
I demand a trade.
Good. Go play for a bum. I'll take my 1st-round pick and regroup. Same way we just did with A.J. Brown. Same way they're going to do with everybody else. Come on, man. I got no fear of that with Howie Roseman right now.
Send me to the Raiders.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what they did with Sapp. Hey, the Buccaneers didn't want to play that role. They traded his ass. They traded his ass to the Raiders.
I want you to forget for a second about what you think Jalen Carter or Drew Rosenhaus and Jalen Carter's camp are thinking. Have you watched a $40 million player, a $35 million player?
I haven't seen a $30 million player.
That's how I feel as well.
I think where he is right now. Then again, I don't think that Jordan Davis is a $25 million player either. But then again, I don't see a $30 million player.
I think these teams got to be like, I'm all for somebody getting the max contract when they're up. But I think you got to walk you're toting a line there where you pay guys too early. I mean, these guys are making, they got to earn these contracts, man. Jalen Carter's got to earn that contract. He's nowhere. He doesn't even deserve to necessarily right now to be in the conversation for a top paid DT.
Okay, well, let's ask this question. You think Jalen Phillips has earned a $30 million 4-year contract over that respected period of time?
No.
Well, who got that deal for him?
Free agency.
Drew Rosenhaus.
I know, but that's free agency.
Okay.
That's a little different. Like because remember, right now, Carter doesn't even have the patience to get the free agency.
No.
Because the Dolphins looked at $30 million. The Dolphins looked at $20 million on Jalen Phillips and said, yeah, no thanks. Trade him out of here. So, going to the open market and free agency is a little bit of a different game. I mean, Milton Williams got $28 million. I love Milton Williams. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he was that good when he got that deal. Now, I think he's grown into it, which is credit to him. But
so think about that. Milton Williams got a $28 million contract, and you're paying him less than Milton Williams' money.
Well, he's on a rookie deal, though, man. I mean, come on.
I got it. Yeah, well, the Eagles didn't even want to go down the lane of giving him another contract.
I mean, Puka Nacua makes less than Devontae Smith.
Okay.
Puka Nacua makes less than freaking Jahan Dotson.
Puka Nacua is going to reset the market.
Yes, he is. But right now, I can say the same thing because he hasn't gotten the deal yet.
But Puka Nacua could reset the market today.
They're waiting on that deal because they got baggage there, and that guy's been way more productive than Carter.
I'm just telling you, man. I know how them fuckers think, man.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just telling you, as the GM of the team, don't give up your leverage because Drew Rosenhaus, wants to hold you over the table. All right, Drew. You don't want to play here. Go play in Vegas. Tell Jalen Carter to enjoy his time in Vegas. I'll take the 1st-round pick. He needs to earn the 35. Drew, if he goes and gets all pro, I'll give him 38. But go and do it. Why is that so hard to ask?
Because I want it now.
All right. Well, you're not getting it now. You got the 5th-year option, $27 million, fully guaranteed.
That's why it's going to get a little bumpy this summer.
Well,
going to get a little bumpy.
I can't blame Howie Roseman for that. If I were Howie, I'd be holding strong on this. Not because I don't think Carter's good. That has nothing to do with it. You got to earn it, man. You got to go out there and play better.
I don't think this is going to be as smooth as John thinks.
I think there's been some signs that would insinuate you might be correct about that. holding him out of some of the camp practices. And, I think you could be right about that. But what Howie should –
I'm not saying a full holdout.
Here's what would be a bad move by Howie, and I don't think he makes many of them, especially when it comes to contracts. This would be a bad move. Letting Drew Rosenhaus say to you, well, you played him 95% of the snaps, so you owe him the money. Oh, bullshit. Bull freaking shit. No.
Who do you think made that call then on pulling him out of that Giants game in game 1?
Drew.
So Drew has the leverage to pull a player out of a game. And you don't think he's got the leverage with Howie in any way when it comes to saying this? You don't want to pay us. Fucking trade us.
All right,
You've already tried to trade us 3 times.
Yeah, but you're of the belief that, like, if an agent says something, you better bow at their demands.
No, I'm telling you how them fuckers are thinking.
I know, but just because that's how they're thinking doesn't mean I have to act on that. If some idiot in the chat thinks that they hate me, I'm not going to then placate every decision and talking point to make them happy. But bro, no, in the contract. Done.
That's
Conversation
how he
over.
Operates.
All right, then go and request a trade.
And Howie Roseman knows how Rosenhaus operates.
By the way, Howie still holds the cards if they request a trade. Still.
Yeah, got it.
I mean, come on.
You've already thrown my name out 3 times in trades since you want to trade us.
Yeah. You're damn right. You're replaceable. Moro Jomo gave me as good a production as you last year, guy. You want to make $35 million? Go be a $35 million.
No, I'm going to play the other side of that. You want to throw Moro Jomo in my face? Have fucking at it.
Okay.
That guy's nowhere in my room, and you know it.
Yeah, well, that dude works his tail off. That dude delivered the fucking goods. That dude's a 7th-round pick that worked his balls off to get on the field. And then when he did get on the field, he didn't bitch and moan and whine. He fucking played good and produced.
Harry High School, I hear you.
Reminds me of Herb Brooks.
Move me. Dude, I'm with you.
The entitlement. Come on, man.
Listen. That guy does not play. He does not play fair, man. Just like Howie's looking for
it. It is what it is, but Howie's got the leverage. As soon as he gives in, he gives up the leverage.
So you're going to have maybe another football player going into another season that's disgruntled. All right.
Sileo, you're blowing it out of proportion.
Okay.
He's 3 years into his rookie deal. They didn't franchise tag the guy.
They didn't even.
Cowboys have more strife with George Pickens for crying out loud.
They thought the $32 million offer was a fucking joke.
It's not a joke. In fact, I think it's over market.
Well, they thought it was a joke.
If I were Howie, I'd say, I got 3 years, 30 a year for you. How's that?
Fuck that. Are you nuts?
Well,
I'd rather trade you. I'd rather have you trade me to the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian League.
Okay, good.
And give me that contract.
Yeah, all right, then go get your $40 million from them.
All right, we'll go to another one here. You ready? So you're under the belief it's not going to be any rough waters at all.
That's not what I said. I mean, he might be rough, but what again? You're going to placate to it? You're going to let it dictate your decisions? That's how you stop being a great GM. You abandon your principle for an agent who's whining in your ear about a player who really needs to play better to earn that type of contract.
Okay.
I'm also of the belief I think Carter's going to earn it. Like, I'm not saying don't pay. I think he's going to earn it.
Do you think they're creating bad blood between one another now?
Who, Jalen Carter and the Eagles?
Yeah.
No, because I think, if Carter has honest people in his corner, then no. You can't, it reminds me of the meme. It's like you got a gun there. You point down and you shoot yourself in the foot, and then you blame everybody else that your foot got shot. It's like, you going to blame the Eagles because you had problems, because your shoulders didn't hold up, or because you spit on Dak Prescott to start the year? I know for a fact that Jeffrey Lurie was very upset by that. Shoot yourself in the foot and then cry wolf. Oh gosh. Jalen Carter doesn't strike me as that guy. But
let me see. Hey, Howie. Oh, no. He doesn't either. But Drew does. And he will say this. Really? So my guy had a bad year? Yeah, really, huh? How about every guy in that fucking offense of yours blowing out loud, having a horrible year?
Yeah, and AJ got traded, and we didn't give the quarterback the contract.
And don't put that all on my ass when you got a wide receiver that's quitting on your football team, and you're blaming me for that trash run you had a year ago. Give me my 35. Hey, I can't wait.
Let me go. You know what? Let me go pull up the good old trusty Pro Football Focus. Let me log into my premium account and check out how Jalen Carter graded out last year.
Really?
Let me see. I think Moro Ojomo would have been graded out higher.
Oh, wow. Okay, you pay him and trade me. Trade me to the Patriots where everyone gets paid. Shit, you wait. Pretty soon, the Philadelphia Eagles
hire you. Did you recently get hired by?
Wait a second. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to make it sure that the Patriots get back to the AFC title. The last 2 years, you let Milton Williams go, and now you got AJ up there. Who's next? Jalen Carter?
Let's get checked out. Oh, look at this. Let's see here. Minimum snaps. We'll do 20%. Oh, look at this. Quinnen Williams, the number 2 rated defensive tackle in pro football last year. Leonard Williams, number 10. Dexter Lawrence, number 11. Cam Hayward was the top guy. Jeffrey Simmons was the 3rd. Apuna Ford. Remember all the Eagles fans got mad at me for saying that was a good signing by the Rams? He was the 4th rated defensive tackle last year. Let's keep scrolling. Milton Williams, the 21st rated defensive tackle. Oh, there he is. Moro Ojomo, the 28th graded defensive tackle last year. There's Javon Hargrave at 36. I can't find Jalen Carter. Where is Jalen? Are you out there? Let's see. We're past 50 now. There's Deron Payne at 57. Mm-hmm. Wow. Keep rolling, Zander. Jervon Dexter at 77. There he is. 81. Jalen Carter with a 55 grade. And Sileo wants to shell him out $40 million because whiny Drew Rosenhaus is in their ear.
If he blows so bad, why are you offering 32?
He doesn't blow. He had a down year.
But according to those numbers, man, I mean, you got stiffs ahead of him.
Sills, you don't pay a guy top of the market money after a 3rd year of a rookie contract when they don't play at the top of their position. If he was top 5 on this list, then we wouldn't be having this convo.
He's second team all pro.
Oh, now you've upped it. I don't think he second team all pro.
I don't think so. I think he made was he?
He might have been in 24. Did Jalen Carter make all pro?
I thought he was
second team in 24. He was second team 24. In 24.
Okay.
And last year I think he got the
he got the Pro Bowl. He didn't get the
he got the the honorary Pro Bowl.
He got the Cam Jurgens Award.
Yeah, exactly right. The Cam Jurgens Award last year.
Dude, I just gonna tell you, it's gonna be a little bumpy.
81st rated DT, and Silio's like, you better give him 40.
No. Silio's not. Rosenhaus is.
And Rosenhaus can go kick the rocks on the road, dude.
If he's you know what? I wouldn't.
Boy, Sileo, if you ran a team as a general manager,
this ain't
and
me.
You bent the knee every time an agent had a stink.
No, I didn't say that,
man.
I didn't. Well, you bent the knee on AJ.
Well, because AJ had somewhat leverage. He was already paid and under contract.
You became a lesser team. AJ won that.
I think that's fair to say. AJ won that.
AJ won that.
Well, that's why Howie's not giving up leverage so easily. Maybe there's a lesson in there.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll see what happens in training camp. 39 freaking days.
Yeah, I think I agree with my boy Bob Brown. I'm starting to think Sills is on the Rosenhaus payroll.
Nope. I just had a decent conversation with someone who
Blow your team up because Mr. Drew is unhappy.
No.
Well, Drew.
So do you think there's anything to the Tyreek Hill rumors?
I actually think that'd be pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know that the Eagles would do it, but I think it'd be pretty interesting. It would give them a real legit deep threat. Now, hopefully Jalen doesn't underthrow him every throw, but
who reps him?
Drew.
Oh
my gosh, this guy is like.
I'm just saying, how did that get out there? Jesus criminy. All of a sudden, Tyreek Hill's name is being brought up with the Eagles as the most and the favorite to land Tyreek Hill.
Listen, if that's the case, then Jalen better just launch that ball as far as he can and hope that Tyreek doesn't outrun it.
He will. He'll get to it. I think they're saying he's in pretty good shape, so we'll see.
And Tyreek can run.
Let's hypothetically say he's not what he was. He ran a 4.2. So let's say he runs a 4.4. You all right with that? 4.4. Whatever, man. I mean, all right, Z, I got a couple.
By the way, Jordan Davis, I think, had more snaps than Jalen Carter last year.
I believe he did.
Yeah, he did.
So now Moro Jomo? Wow, look at that, man.
Jordan Davis had 715 snaps. Jalen Carter at 698.
The Moro Jomo campaign begins. So what are you going to do with him?
I don't think you need to overstate it. I don't think it's that. I just think Moro, again, that's a dude who wasn't given shit. Drafted as a 7th-round draft pick. He earned his stripes. He proved it to Vic Fangio.
How are you going to reward him? By letting him walk out the door or signing him?
Well, if you let him walk out the door, it is a reward for him because he's going to go and make a massive, like Milton Williams. I don't think Milton Williams looks back at Philly and says, F those guys. I think he says, hey, they let me walk and I got a bidding war that pushed me to 28 large.
Would you get a compensation pick for that?
For Carter? Definitely.
No, not for Carter. For Moro Jomo, if he signs a deal?
It depends on how much money he gets.
You can get a third rounder. You might get a third for him if he signs
north of 20 million. I think it'd be a 3rd rounder.
Like if you had to redraft Moro Jomo, he'd probably be a 2nd rounder, late 1st round pick.
I agree. By the way, that dude has the attitude on and off the field that you want to build a team around.
Yes.
So
I feel comfortable with him.
Yeah.
I totally do.
Me too.
All right, Big Z, I'm going to do my big.
Wait, one more question on this real quick before you move on.
Sure.
What do you think is more valuable to the Philadelphia Eagles? Jalen Carter at what do you want to put the number at? 36? Is that what you think Drew would take?
I think 35-ish, 36, 37.
All right, so let's just say
35 to 37, somewhere in there.
What do you think is better? Jalen Carter for 35 and you let Moro walk, or you pay Moro 28 on a 4-year extension and you pick up a 1st and a 3rd? What would you rather have if you're the Eagles?
I'd rather pay Moro Jomo the 25 and pay Q or Cooper and trade Carter for 1st-round picks and build my football team with that. You know why? I got 2 players taken care of versus 1 player. I think what the Eagles are getting into a problem with, you're getting centric on one guy. I mean, dude, you got a lot of money to pay to players this coming offseason if you don't get this Carter deal done. And if Hurts balls out, you have to add him to the mix.
No.
What if your defense does turn into number 1? You can't let Moro Jomo walk out the door like you did Milton Williams.
It depends how good Carter plays. I mean, if Carter plays, they're going to pay him. I do think the other thing I think that people are underestimating is I think people are too focused on the field on Carter. Obviously, on the field matters, but I think one of the biggest things that's postponing that deal right now is obviously the injuries and also the off the field stuff is a concern. It just is. Huh?
It's an interesting conversation. I'm going to ask you something, and you tell me how you feel about it. So when Bill Parcells was dealing with Lawrence Taylor and you knew that he was a cocaine addict and you knew he was doing all the things off the field to hurt himself and to get himself suspended, all this and that, I'm not getting rid of that player.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting rid of that player. I don't care if he snorts his brains out.
Yeah.
I'm just not getting rid of that player.
Are you under some belief that Jalen Carter even deserves to be mentioned in the same sentence as that
No.
man?
Well, depending on how important you think he is to what you are to your football team and how important he is to Vic and his scheme. Every player has a value and a scheme. Doesn't mean he has to be the same player, say, as a Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was important to the Giants' success in New York. Do you think Jalen Carter is important to the success of the Eagles?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to downplay him. Yeah, he's good.
Well, how much of a value are you going to put on that? 35 large?
I don't feel that yet.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. How much do you think a player is worth? Like, are you going to pay Q max money?
Definitely. Q, I'm not even thinking. Second he's eligible, I'm giving him that deal.
Okay. What about Cooper?
Cooper, I think, is a tougher
Cooper has to
negotiation.
be addressed first, actually, because of the second round.
I actually think they'll be addressed at the same time. Because I used to think they would take that extra year with Quinion, but they're not gonna, because that market's gonna explode, that corner market. So I think they'll both get addressed. I think Cooper is a tougher needle to thread, because in theory, if you made Cooper the highest paid player at his position, it'd be 21, 20. You know, they don't make that much money. I think like Kyler Gordon, or what's that guy's name? Is that right? Kyler Gordon? What's that dude's name?
For who? What team?
Who's he with? Is it the Texans? Yeah, no, the Bears. With the Bears. I mean,
the safety.
No, he's the nickel guy.
The nickel guy.
He got like a 3-year, 40 million.
Yeah.
That's like 13 million a year, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, who are the highest paid slot?
Dog, you need to get you need to look at Kyle Hamilton's number. Okay. Look at Kyle Hamilton's number.
Yeah, but he hasn't done what Kyle Hamilton's done.
Well, that's the number. Again, it's about resetting a market, though, dude.
4 years, 100 million. All right, so 25 million. I mean, Kyle Hamilton's been an elite safety, though. Cooper's never been an elite safety.
Well, I think the position he plays is like Vic says. I think it's more safety, that nickel.
Yeah, I mean, this is the question, but Rasputin, are you paying him as a safety or a nickel?
I'm paying him as both.
Okay, so I think you're at 22, 23 right now.
I think I'm paying. You're not paying him McDuffie money, dog.
No. You can't. You got to be careful there, because if you're gonna shell out money,
no way,
for Cooper, and you're gonna keep him at nickel, that's a bad value contract.
That's right.
No matter how good he is.
Yeah. You're not paying Cooper DeJean more money than Quinion Mitchell. That's not happening. All right. So, Z, who will be the Eagles' breakout player? I named you. I got 5 guys here, and you tell me if you want to add a guy. Tariq Woolen. Oh, by the way, I'll ask this question after this. Jalix Hunt, Mekhi Lemon, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Jahad Campbell.
Okay.
Other. Who do you think will be the breakout Eagle in 26?
You had Woolen, Trotter.
Woolen, Hunt, Lemon, Trotter Jr., Jahad Campbell.
To me, it's Campbell. Who's the second name you said?
Jalix Hunt.
Or Hunt. It's Campbell or Hunt to me. Lemon's not going to get the opportunities to break out to that level. Trotter, I would think so, but you'd have to have a big injury. And they're not going to play 3 backers on the field.
Can I tell you who I think it's going to be?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be this guy, Tariq Woolen.
Well, I what do you mean by breakout? Because I view him already as a pretty good player.
I don't.
You think he's going to become like a
because I think because of that 1-year contract they've given him,
Yeah, and Vic had mentioned he was surprised he only got 1 year contract.
And
Apparently he's looked incredible in the spring.
I know. And John's not the only one. Gary Cobb's in the green room. I guarantee.
Now, how many times are you going to find a cornerback that's 6'4" that can run with receivers?
Bro, and supposedly he's been unreal out there.
John was telling me a story of mini camp last week where Devontae Smith runs like a very Devontae Smith-esque route, who's a great route runner. And Tariq Woolen was right in his hip pocket the whole way through, and he broke up jumped in front of the pass to break it up. I mean, if you're 6'4" and you're sticking with Devontae Smith side by side on a short, crispy route, you're a talented player.
Bro, he's one of the tallest corners in NFL history at 6'4". Corners aren't that tall, dude. And so, okay, Z, what if that guy does what he did his rookie year and he leads the NFL in interceptions? Are you giving that guy a 3-year contract extension too?
I unfortunately think it wouldn't be here, man. I mean, you got Cooper and Q, you got Carter, you got Hurts, you have Smith, Devontae Smith. I mean,
Carter and all them guys.
Yeah, I mean, how you going to do it, you know? You're going to pay 3 cornerbacks massive money? You're going to pay I'm going to pay Quinion 33, 32. I'm going to pay Cooper DeJean, call it 25. Now I got to pay Tariq Woolen 25.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's too much. I don't think
you did it before with James Bradbury.
Well, Bradbury they traded for, and I think the Giants, if I'm not mistaken,
I thought they released him.
Did they? And
yeah. That wasn't a trade. The Giants released him.
Oh, yeah, and then they signed him late. That's right.
They released him, and then he earned that contract.
He didn't get
money. Second team All-Pro on that 70 sack team.
Yeah, but his first year in Philly, dude, he signed 1 year, 7.25. Now, they paid him after that 3 years, 38, but that's still 12.6 a year.
For a guy who was whacked. Okay.
12.6 is different than 26.
No. I got it, but at the market value at that time, that was a pretty good contract for a guy who was released.
Yeah, it was. Remember, they didn't have Cooper at the time. They were paying Reed Blankenship, basement money because he was an undrafted guy.
That defense ends up number 1 in the NFL, and that Woolen is one of the key components. You're going to let him and Moro Jomo walk to pay Carter?
Depending on how good Carter plays this year, I think so. That's why that Moro Jomo, I'm telling you, man, I'm not saying Moro Jomo is a better player than Carter, but I think he gives the Eagles a weird level of leverage in these contracts. I mean, I have another good defensive tackle that I feel pretty comfortable paying if Carter wants to go or wants to make too much money, and I can get back a first-round pick for Carter. The Eagles are thinking about that, I think.
See, I don't like this. I don't like giving up multiple players for one guy in consecutive years.
I know. You've been on this for a bit, too.
I mean, if I sign 4 guys and I lose 7, how's that make my unit better?
Well, it depends on the players. I mean, they've let a lot of defenders go recently, and we still are talking about this defense like they're going to be a top 5 unit.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. I mean, that's a lot to do with Vic and with Howie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's another team in football that could let as many defensive players go in the last 3 years that the Eagles have and still talk about having a top 5 defense.
Dude, I could put a top-ranked defense together with the players you've let loose. Let's read some of the supers because we got JAKIB.
We only got one. We're good.
Okay, good.
All right, it says, Sills, it doesn't matter what receiver is here if the quarterback can't find him.
True.
Well, Jalen's got, just like I said about Jalen Carter, it's the same thing. Go out and play great. Play like an elite player, like your biggest fans talk about you. The world is your oyster. The contract will be waiting for you on the table. 65 large.
I think this is going to be a bumpy ride.
Color me surprised.
Well, wait for Jalen Carter this coming summer.
Could be. But I think Drew's got to be honest about what the situation.
Yeah, he's going to try to get his player the money now because of all the things we just talked about.
I agree, but Carter's got to go and earn that.
You got it. All right, Big Z, I appreciate you, bro. See you on the other side.
Later,
man. You got it. That is my guy. Man, we had a great conversation there, and I can't wait to talk to Gary Cobb. Now, we brought this up. The man who represents Chris Jones, the highest paid defensive tackle in pro football, is Drew Rosenhaus. And he makes $31.5 million. Jalen Carter was with that so-called hold-in that Drew's notorious for, like he did with Chris Jones. Personally, I think there's going to be a holdout this coming summer because the camp down in South Florida with Drew Rosenhaus is not very happy. Let's see what our friend says. Without further ado, man, from Fox 29, he is our friend, and he is Gary Cobb, and he joins us now. G. Cobb, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you making out?
All good. So,
yeah.
Right now, Rosenhaus's folks are not very happy with the fifth-year option being picked up, and they laughed at the $32 million that Howie Roseman initially offered. And they said that that's not going to cut it. They want to reset the market. Chris Jones is 31.5, and they're looking more between 35 and 37. What would G. Cobb do? And do you think the Eagles are doing the right thing by not signing him right now?
Well, out there at the workouts they had, he didn't do any. He just stretched, did a little warm up, but he didn't participate in the drills. They kind of work, kind of looking out for his shoulders and stuff. So, but, just to be fair about it, I mean, he didn't have a great year last year. I mean, the year before, of course, he was an integral part of them winning the Super Bowl. But last year, I'm sorry, no, he didn't play, great football. It wasn't where he stood out and like the guy you expect him to be. So, I wasn't surprised when originally people were talking about him making like 25, 27. I mean, where he wasn't really signing an extension, I think that's part of the deal he would get if they were just trying to delay the thing. But I can't see him coming in there. His people, they need to know, look, he didn't have a great year last year. I'm sorry. He was not the same player, and that is one thing that I think if I was the Eagles, look, he's still, relatively young, but he hasn't been consistent the way, you got a superstar player who is focused. He comes in, he's in shape. He's not distracted by stuff. He doesn't do dumb stuff like go out and, with the stupid the thing he did before that game last year, the first game. But the big thing is, he's had injury problems, with the shoulders. So I don't see giving him, you're not giving him 40. What are they thinking, like 30?
35.
35. I mean, that's not far off, but I know they got to sign other people. I mean, they got.
So he's not. Well, wait. Then that means then to you, Jalen Carter's not the number one priority. Others are a priority, like say Quinion and Cooper would be bigger priorities in your eye.
Come on, they've been more consistent. The whole time. I mean, they've been here the whole time. They've been there. Both of them have been great players. I can't say that about Jalen Carter.
It's
true. He hasn't. Even though, he does have the talent and everything, but obviously he gets distracted. He's had some injury problems. But clearly the thing that bothers me most is that he gets distracted. He doesn't play that way all the time. Now he did play that way in the Super Bowl year, especially in that Rams game. The game was on the line. He stood up and really ended the game. Now that's the kind of thing you want to see more often, but that's the guy that's the best defensive tackle in the game. The guy that and I can't say he doesn't play like that all the time. He takes plays off, he takes games off. See? He takes games off. Take a play off, okay, that's when taking games off.
You know what it reminds me of a little, Gary?
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of a bad attitude Jerome.
Yeah. Yeah, you could take Jerome off. You're right, and he would let's say he's mad about something, and he could get distracted like that and not be giving you everything he's got. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Jerome's not like going to give you a character issue like Carter will. Jerome will take plays off, though. You knew that. You know that he'll run around the block. He'll take a play off like that. And so you had to kind of keep on his ass like that.
Yeah.
But what you didn't get with Jerome was you didn't get like shitty attitude. You didn't get stupid things like we saw with the spitting and, like that. And plus the injuries, he was a very durable guy. So that's what I said. I think Jerome was a better character, Jalen Carter. And so, I mean, I think, with a player like that, Gary, when a player takes plays off like that, we always had to do this. And I don't know how you guys played with him in Philly, but I would do it like this. I'd be next to Jerome. Jerome would take a play off, and it would fucking infuriate me. But the next 7 plays, this guy's destroying the field, and he's killing it. So you know what we learned to do? We learned to go, it's Jerome and how he played.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but when you spit and you do all the other stuff and some of the character issues and you're banged up a little bit, then it becomes a little bit more noticeable when you're taking the plays off. Is that fair on how you look at, like, how you would look at both those players? Because for me, I don't trust Jalen Carter.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing, that if you are, if you got a big game coming up with Jerome, you're not worried about it. But sometimes with Jalen, he could take the game off.
Yeah.
The
Bears.
I mean, where you're right, the Bears game, So I think that I couldn't put him in the same, say he's got the same motivation as Jerome and everything, because if Jerome was challenged, especially if somebody's challenged him like that,
like Buddy.
You're waking him up. Okay.
Yeah.
You're waking him up. So, he's not going to give you a break. He's going to take that challenge on.
Yeah.
But I can't say that all the time about Jalen Carter, and but I'm hoping that we're going to see a more mature Jalen Carter, because they need really, if they're going to, get where they want to, they need the defense to be to be battling the Rams for the best defense in the league, because they do have that kind of talent. And I'll tell you this, they got some special talent on their defense, because I was over there now. This kid, the corner,
Tariq Woolen.
Look, when it comes to talent, he's a special player. Now, is he going to play like that all the time?
Has he been that impressive as everyone's been saying in camp?
Because you don't realize how fast he is. He's running with all the receivers like he's trotting with them. He's fast. We all know that he's very fast, but you don't realize how fast he is
and how big he
is. The combination of the two. So he was really very dominant out there doing those workouts. I mean, he made really all the receivers made him look bad, because he's like, he's not even running full speed all the way, and he's running, shoulder to shoulder with them and knocking the ball down. He did have an interception, but you see that, he's got special talent. Now, are we going to get all of that out of him, though? See, because with Quinyon, you get it out of him. He's going to play every play.
The thing with Woolen, though, Gary, was attitude in Seattle.
I know. Well, look at that game. When you had in the playoff game.
Yeah,
he's over there.
NFC Championship game.
Yeah, you can't have that. I mean, he's too good to be.
He's chirping in the ref's ear, and the ref told him to shut the hell up.
Yeah, and he's yelling at the guys over there on the sideline and stuff like you can't get distracted. And you got to be smart, where they need you to play great. Now, he can play. I mean, he could be a great corner. I mean, Quinyon is a great corner. I mean, he's played some great football. And that's why I say the potential, when you see the potential of him now, is he going to play great all the time? I mean, he's an exceptional talent. And I don't know when you talk about football acumen and everything. It seems like he's got a good feel for the game too. But when it comes to just talent, I don't know that I've seen very many times where you got more talented corners than the Eagles have. I mean, I haven't seen. I mean, I've seen some great players and everything, but there haven't been a lot of teams, since I've been around the NFL that have had more talent than they got. If you talk about those three corners they have, which and you throw Cooper in there too. I don't know if I've seen, guys with that much talent.
You think they're going to be better potential? You think they got more talent than 24?
I think so. When it comes to the corners, yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Because even with
so you'll
Slay,
take these corners over Q and Slay.
Yeah, I think the potential is there. See,
because the Q and Cooper are older than what they were back then.
That's right.
And so they're older now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And Slay was pretty much on the back nine in 24, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. But he got the savvy and smart too, though. So he was still playing some good football. But right now, potential wise, see, now that's the whole thing is I look at the potential. It's exceptional crew. I mean, Rick Willen, I mean, he's a athletic freak, man. Dude, that fast and that big. But he just was running with the Eagles, running with the receivers like they were, like they weren't running full speed, even though, he didn't have to run full speed. He's running and knocking the ball down and everything. And we know what Q can do, and Cooper. Now, the safeties, that's why I wouldn't say, the most exceptional secondary. I don't know about their safeties. Makuba's still kind of recovering. Marcus Epps, okay, but those corners as good as you can get. Willen was really putting on a little show.
This is what I put out there, Gary. I said, who will be the breakout Eagle in 2026? I wrote these names down. I wrote Tariq Woolen, Jelix Hunt, Mekhi Lemon, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Jahad Campbell. And I picked Woolen, and what we just talked about. Has Trotter come a long way too, in your opinion?
Yeah, but you can't really judge linebackers until you start doing some. They're not running the ball. It's not pads. But he's smart. He's a smart linebacker. He doesn't have the speed of some linebackers and everything, but he is a very good line because he's so smart and he's been around the game all his life. See, so he does have a great feel for the game, and he's a great guy to have as a backup. Because he could be starting in the league in a lot of places. He could be starting, but but it's going to be tough for him to win that. But the thing that concerns me most is not the defense. The Eagles' defense is going to be exceptional. Jonathan Gennard, you can see he's, I look at the tape of him. He's an exceptional pass rusher.
You think he's an upgrade from Jalen Phillips?
That's very close. I don't know that I could give him the. I'd say they were.
It's a lateral move. You think it? Yeah, and Phillips is a good player.
That's right, and I think Grenard is gonna be step in there. Jalix Hunt is a good guy. He's effective, and he's a quality player. And see, it's a shame that he's not starting somewhere. I mean, because you got a young guy who his potential. He's just got a great feel for the game. He can rush the passer. And he does a great job for playing defense, getting his hands on the ball, So, but I don't know how, well, you're gonna let him compete for some time. You let him rush the pass or something. But Jalen Carter, see up there in the front, if you got Jalen Carter playing like he's capable, you could have a dominant defense like they should be. And then you kind of giving the offense some time to come along, because they're playing a different offense. This is something new, and for this team to really play at the level they're capable of, I think the defense should start off the season being the leading the way. Because they're not a lot of changes over there. They're playing the same defense they've been playing for the last few years. So I want to see them be dominant. They've got a lot of talented players, but the offense, it's going to be interesting. I want to see how, I don't know. I don't know about their offense. I can see they didn't really look good, in those workouts I went over to see. They weren't.
You know what? I want to ask you about that. And
Yeah.
I think people may be looking at it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me.
Yeah.
So we agreed that Sean Mannion's going to go through bumps and bruises as a first-time play caller and situational play caller.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, to me, if I'm in OTA's mini camp, training camp, and I've got to coordinate and I've got to play call against Vic, isn't that a given? That as a first-time play caller, I'm not going to look good against the best defensive play caller in the NFL. And
Yeah.
to me, if I was Nick Sirianni, I would take that as a learning experience that if I could get my guys open in a Vic Fangio practice, you can't get better preparation right now for Sean Mannion than to be going against that secondary that you just praised. And with Vic back there in 7-on-7, isn't that going to make Mannion a better play caller by having to scheme up against Vic?
I think so. I think most definitely. At the same time, you want him to go into the season with the confidence too.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you're dealing with him all the time. He's not letting you. You're not having like great days where you're up and down the field and everything. So it's tough. He's getting a challenge dealing with him every day. But I just think that, and this is why I was thinking, I want to see the defense lead the way starting out the season, and have the offense coming along, because I don't know what they're going to look like, And I could see, like I said, out there, you could see them struggling a bit. That's what I saw with the practices. What I saw. And at the same time, you can understand they're playing a new offense, and you're playing against an outstanding defense. They got what should be an outstanding defense, and when you talk about throwing the ball against them, it's tough.
I want to read you this here, and you tell me, this is from Bleeding Green, and you tell me if you go along these lines and feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
Some close to Jalen Hurts feel that the Eagles did not support him enough when some constructively insightful stories came out this offseason about some of the deficiencies on the field. I'm assuming they're talking about the Jeremy Fowler and Tim McManus story that was put in ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
No one spoke up publicly on Hurts' behalf as they did with Wentz in 2019. Do you think that Jalen Hurts has complete command of that locker room, or do you buy into the fact that some are saying that Jalen Hurts, again, I mean, if those stories weren't true, how come nobody ever stepped up and said, hey, wait a minute, those things aren't true? No one has.
Well, I'll tell you this,
or is it just Philly being Philly?
I think that's Philly. I think, it's the people are tough here. The media's tougher here. But Jalen's been, come on, how much of this stuff has been through? He shouldn't be letting, this really get under his skin. And I don't think he is. I don't think he's focused on that. So, I don't think that really bothers him, because he's heard it the whole time he's been here. I mean, and now with the fact that, he's taken this team to 2 Super Bowls, and he went and he won one. I don't think he's immature enough to where he's letting that bother him. I don't think so. He's focused on learning this offense. That's where his head is, because people always going to be saying something. I mean, after he won the Super Bowl, still hearing it, So I think he's mature enough to where it doesn't seem like it's bothering him. And I don't think a lot of the guys here, you got a real mature group, like Devontae, Saquon. These are mature men. they're mature players. I don't think they let that stuff bother them. And if they saw that it was bothering Jalen, I think they say something to him. But I don't think it's bothering Jalen. I think he's letting it go in one ear and out the other. The main thing they want to do is he wants to find a way to win, to learn this new offense and take care of his business. And I don't think he's caught up into all of the noise, because there's noise in Philly all the time. I mean,
hey Gary, I want to ask you this though.
Yeah.
All right. Randall Cunningham,
Mm-hmm.
Donovan McNabb,
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz, or Jalen Hurts. Who do you think has taken the most criticism from the fans and from the media with his play? Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Carson Wentz, or Jalen Hurts?
I mean,
Because Jalen Hurts is
tough.
hammered.
Yeah, he does get hammered. I probably would say Jalen. I mean, I probably would say him because, I think about with Randall, and I think in some cases he's a victim of his own success, because when you do go and you win it, then it's almost like the criticism, is going up higher because, your player's going up higher. So yeah, they say, hey, well, you guys are Super Bowl teams, so we're going to be even tougher on you. So I would probably say Jalen, just because of because they won it. I think that he raised the bar, and so he's getting hit with his own success, I think.
Man, I mean, if you think about it, you're right. The more success you get, the more shit you get.
That's right. That's right.
Am I right when I say that?
That's right, because they say, hey, look, we won a Super Bowl. You guys won the Super Bowl. We want you to go back to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. I mean, so we raised the standard. I think that's what they did. They raised the standard. Now, I've been looking at the Eagles, their offensive line, like just looking at the health of some of those guys. Landon Dickerson, he's the only one I still look at, and I don't see him. He's as healthy as he has been. So we're gonna see about him. But all the other guys look like they're in good health. Because that's going to be one of the keys to this team too, is that they got to be able to run the ball more effectively than they did last year. Because
Do you think Barkley will be more involved in the pass game this year than he's been since he got here?
Yeah, he will be. He will be more involved in the passing game, and getting that ball to him, and getting the ball to him on the run, and having the guys come out of the backfield. They are going to do more of that. And I'll tell you this, that this kid Tank
Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby, you're probably going to see more of him. He just he looked good when he played last year, and I think they're going to be able to give him a break some. But I think they're going to work him in there a little bit more.
You think they'll do any? You think they'll do any fullback this year to try to help the run game?
I could see them doing it. I don't know what personnel wise if they have the guy to do it. Real. So that's
you think they'll go two back set ever?
No, I really don't see two back. No, well, they haven't shown that. I haven't seen anything with two back. But you got more. Now this is the thing is you're gonna be seeing more of the tight ends.
Two tight end sets.
You're gonna be two tight ends, and they're gonna be throwing the ball to the tight ends more. I think that's one of the big things that they're bringing over is they do work the tight ends in there, and it makes sense because if you got an offense that's got a good running game, I can tell you as a former linebacker, as a linebacker, it's tough if you're man to man on the line on the tight end and they run the ball well. Man, that's tough, man. Because you're fighting that guy off, and you don't know, when he's, they're really a lot of times when you're looking to see what they're doing, and the guy fires off at you pretty good, boom, he could be right around you. So the tight ends are tougher to deal with if you got a good running game, and so they're going to get the ball to their tight ends, and you can see it in the practices. They throw the ball to the tight end more.
You know what I don't see a lot of, Gary? A couple more here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I don't see a lot of with Jalen Hurts? I don't see a lot of sprint out throws
Mm-hmm.
to get him. If they're concerned about him in the pocket with being short and all,
Mm-hmm.
you know how Rodgers got out into the perimeter and was
That's
just
right.
an absolute weapon out there
Yep.
throwing the football.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see a lot
Well,
of that.
I think
You think you'll see more of that?
You're going to see more of that because they're doing it in the practice. So I see more of that.
To the tight end?
Yeah, working the ball to the tight ends. That's right. You see more of that. And, because they got him under center. So he's coming out, he fakes, and then, at times he's rolling out. That's right. And to both sides. Both to.
So you think there's going to be a little bit more play action being
There's
involved?
going to be more of that. It's what they were working on. I could see that. And you could see that they were emphasizing it. That's going to be a part of that passing game. And like I said, as a defense, I know, man, it is tough. If you got a good running game you're facing, and you've got to be able to, if you go play man-to-man and you got that tight end, that's really tough on a linebacker, man, because you're fighting off, you're looking, and a lot of times it's you don't have time to see, and so you're playing run, and all of a sudden, hey, it's play action pass. You get caught with your pants down.
Gary, what's Stowers' role going to be?
Wait, say that again?
What's Stowers' role going to be? The tight end.
The tight end. I think that it's what we just been talking about. A lot of times there are two tight ends, and they're going to have both of them. And I know they were throwing the ball to Dallas Goedert, and so he's going to be in there with him, and that's one of the reasons they drafted him. Because he's really going to be tough, because if you got a linebacker, like I said, Stowers can run. And so you got the linebacker trying to cover him, and he's thinking about what run responsibility. It's tough, man. You've been telling help. You those guys yelling help because, but that's why it's important that they get the running game going. And some of the offensive linemen were talking about, how they do different things to make their jobs easier. So those guys, they kind of like this offense because there are times when, they do things to really put the defense in a tough situation.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
You get stuffed in that Washington game. How many calls to Jeff Stoutland are going to be made after that first game? Hey, all I'm saying is, Gary, those guys know one way, and it's good to be talking all this stuff right now.
That's right.
You get into the game, and all of a sudden, you ain't succeeding with this thing here.
Yeah.
You think they've moved off of him and on to Chris Cooper?
Well, those guys are still talking about Stoutland, when you talk to the offensive lineman, because they still talk to him, so I can't say they've moved off of him that soon. Now, they do like some of the things they're doing. Like I said, they like some of the things in the offense that makes their job easier, and so they were talking about some of those things. So they like some of the things that, with this offense, because it really puts pressure on the defensive line, and there's certain things that they do that they like. So we will see, but. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to start off slow. I mean, that would not be a shock, because most of the time when people are playing a new style, they don't do it right away. And you can see out there, they're still learning this offense. The line is learning the offense. Jalen, the receivers, all of them are out there learning that offense. It's a new offense for them.
Finally here, you see the city of Stanford lit up for the Knicks. They had all the colors. They had all the buildings lit up. They had Knicks there in Stanford. They had a lot of people who live and work. I know Worldwide West lives in Stanford, who's a part of the organization. I think Leon Rosen, he also lives in Stanford. Those guys live there, and they had the whole city lit up. What'd you make of the Knicks? First time since we were kids, the Knicks win the NBA championship.
Well, I tell you, it looked like they just, they believed that they played hard all the time. I mean, they just seemed like this was going to be their year, and they didn't let it get away. But they're playing against a young team, so they took advantage of their, the fact that you got a young group that made mistakes at the wrong time, and they took advantage of it. But you got to give them credit; they got it done. And what did they only lose 2 games in the whole?
No, they
whole
lost.
thing?
No, they only lost 1. Let me give you 2
Was
stats
it just
on the
one?
way out. Yeah, get this.
Yeah.
74% of the 5 games, the Spurs had the lead, and
I know
they had double-digit leads in all 5 games and lost the series.
See, that's youth. That's youth, man. That's but you got to give them credit that the Knicks, that they obviously know how to play when it's on the line. They know how to execute, with everything on the line, man. But a lot of people, they're celebrating. I mean, we got folks down here. Everybody that is a Knicks fan. In fact, you got people that I didn't know you was a Knicks fan. When did you become a Knicks fan?
Hey, I would tell you this: if you're a Sixer fan, the Knicks made you feel how far away you are from winning an NBA championship. That's for damn sure. Especially doing it with 3 Philly guys.
That's right.
Who went to Nova. 3 Nova guys end up winning the NBA championship. JAKIB, great stuff as always, man. I will see you next week. Thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, have a good one.
You got it. Gary Cobb. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. 3 Nova guys. I'm going to give you my Big Sills bold predictions coming up here in a minute. And we're going to do that here in a second. Yeah, hey, by the way, I mean, the Spurs, 74% of the time that was on the clock had the lead in those 5 games. 5 of those games, they had double-digit leads. Double-digit leads they had. And you lost that series. And they need 5 days to get a parade going. I think the parade is Thursday. Hey, and by the way, I saw something here that I got to get on. I got to get on Sue about. Sue likes to start shit, and she likes to have a fight. And I'm going to show you what she does. Come on, Sue, where is that thing? Here, look. She's always looking for somebody to fight somebody. Damn. Sue, you must be a Knicks fan. I mean, you must be a Knicks fan, dude. I mean, she's always looking to celebrate and kick someone's ass. Damn, Sue. See, to me, that's one thing New York hasn't figured out is how to celebrate yet. It's like, hey, to me, I want to go find a chick and I want to drink some beers and have a fun time. Sue wants to get into a fist fight. I don't know. That's not celebrating, right? I mean, damn, Sue. You always start and fight. Reyes this, Sills this. Now you're talking this other bullshit here. Come on, Sue. What's going on here? All right. I'm going to give you my Big Sills bold predictions for 2026. And we're going to do that here. We are going to do that here. Okay? Hit the like button, guys. I appreciate you very much. All right. So, my 10 bold predictions for 2026. Give me your bold prediction for 2026, the 1-loss record. You guys already know it, but I got to give you, and I'm going to give you the full 10 here. What's the record? There we go. 7-10. 7-10. 7-10. I have 8-9. 14-3. 10-7. All right. Not bad. 10-7. 8-10 wins, Sills. It's me, man. 8-10. All right. 9-8. 9-8. Horrible offense, great D. Sue's got 9 wins. All right. Sue's got 9 wins. I've got 8 wins. Let's see here. 11-6. Okay. One more. 13 wins. Let's see here. Here's Mr. Muskmelon. 17-0. Last place in the East. Okay. I've got 8 and 9. Bold prediction number 2. I've got Jordan Davis outplaying Jalen Carter again in 2026. He will outplay Jalen Carter again and become more of a leader on the football team, which will make it easier for them to deal in the offseason. Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis may actually turn out to be the better of the defensive tackles. Who would have thought that 2 years ago? Okay. Here is bold prediction number 3. I do not believe that Sean Mannion's offense is going to be better than Kevin Patullo's offense. I just don't believe it. It means he has to be better than 23. Actually, what was the Eagle offense ranked a year ago? Let me get the exact. What was the Eagle offense ranked a year ago? Total offense. Eagles were 24th. I don't believe a first-time play caller and a first-year offensive coordinator is going to be better than Kevin Patullo. I think they're the same guy. 29-31. I don't see it. Eagles going to win the division and get to the NFC chip against the Rams. My foresight doesn't allow me to see past that. Okay. My bold prediction number 4. I got Saquon Barkley going over 1,300 yards. Not a lot, but around 1,300 yards. Bold prediction number 5. I've got Devontae Smith with 1,100 yards in 8 touchdowns. So Barkley 1,300 and Devontae Smith 1,100 with 8 touchdowns. Barkley 1,300 is reasonable and better than last year. I'll take it. Okay? Nick went from hiring real names to nobodies because real names almost took his job. Number 6. I've got the defense being ranked 10th overall. Bold prediction number 6. Your defense will be ranked number 10. Number 7. Your offense will be ranked 25th. If your offense were ranked better, you'd be a top 5 defense. Bold prediction number 8. I think Kurtz has 15 turnovers this year. Most of them INTs. Number 9. I got Woolen with 6 picks. Yeah, I got him with 6 picks. And number 10, Jahad Campbell makes the Pro Bowl. Those are my 10 bold predictions. I got 8 and 9. Davis outplays Carter. Mannion will not have a better offense than Kevin Patullo. Barkley with 1,300 yards. Devontae with 1,108. Your defense will be ranked 10th. Your offense will be ranked 25th. Hurts will have 15 INTs. Woolen will have 6 picks. And Campbell will make the Pro Bowl. "15 turnovers couldn't pay Dak throwing 15 INTs, and Jerry will remove them." Prediction: Hurts will protect the football. How are you protecting the football with more volume passing? He couldn't do it when you upped it before. What makes it change now? My prediction is that average Jalen will be benched by week 8 and replaced by Andy Dalton. Top 10 offense, top 3 defense. You've never been a top 10 offense. Shit, dude. The passing attack has been in the 20s almost the entire time. It was ranked above 15th or 16th once. Sills Pickens at the start. Let the Eagles know. George Pickens with a volume. Look at what George Pickens did with a volume passer. Once Pickens got a volume passer like Dak, he's a 1,600-yard plus receiver. When you don't have a volume passer in Pittsburgh, George Pickens was just a dude. He protected the football all year last year, and you had one of the worst offenses in pro football. These defenses are very big now. Yes. My prediction is the Commanders win game 1, but the Eagles win 3 straight. We'll see what they do, dude, coming out of the blocks. I do not believe that offense, based on what, is going to turn around. The only way that offense turns around is health. You're minus a player that was a star on the team, and you replaced them with a rookie. How are you better? Dak turned George Pickens into a superstar. Hey, DC, tell these people what George Pickens got on the franchise tag this year based on what he did in Dallas this year. I think he got $27 million. Hot take, Eagles go 1-3 to start off the year. With the only win versus the Titans. You keep missing out 2022 when they were ranked 9th. And the offense was, not the passing game. Passing game was never ranked in the top 10. You nuts? Here. That's because you ran the ball well, and Kurtz ran the ball. What was the passing game ranked in 2022? What were you, 16th? Passing game. They were ranked 9th. My bad. Total passing per game, 21. What a shame. Too bad they don't run the ball like that anymore. Too bad. He was. Here's the rankings for your pass offense. 2021. 1 year and 5 years. 2021. Eagles passing game was ranked 32nd. In 2021. 2022. They were ranked 9th. 2023. The Eagle passing attack was ranked 16th. 2024, the Eagles were ranked 29th. And last year, I believe they were ranked 23rd. '24th. So here's what the Eagles have been ranked. Passing the football the last 5 years. 32nd, last in the league. 9th. 16th, 29th, 24. That's where you've been ranked. Excuse me. Hurt stealing TDs from other players. No. I think the tush push was a big play in that offense. 2023 was vanilla like Patullo, but they threw it more being behind. Patullo wasn't the OC in 23. That was Brian Johnson, who was the offensive coordinator. Okay? And by the way, folks, the passing attack and the rankings, this is why you're changing your offense completely. Is because in 5 years, it's been ranked at the bottom of the league. This is why you're changing it. And Brian was better. Lane is just playing for the contract. He's not into it anymore. I don't know about that. Did Sean Mannion throw out the tush push? I don't know. Okay? I don't know. All right? I don't know. Now, remember something, too. You got to go back and remember this. Here's the guy you fired. Okay? And this is the contradiction of it. What was your rushing attack? Rushing game ranked in 21. Your running game was number 1. 2021. Your passing game was 32nd. Put that in context. You had the number 1 rushing attack and the worst passing attack in pro football in 2021. Wow. Talk about each end of the spectrum. 2022. What was your run game ranked? And this is the guy you replaced. Your run game was ranked 5th in 2022. In 23, even with a bad offense, what was the run game? They were ranked 8th in 2023. In 2024, think about this, what I'm saying here. You had a top 10 and a top 5 offense because of your running game, not because of that shitty passing game of yours. You were number 1 overall in 2020. Were you number 1 in 24 or number 2? Number 2 in 2024. And in 2025, you were 18th. So the only bad year you had was last year, and you were ranked 18th rushing the ball. The other years in the last 5, number 1, number 5, number 8, you were 2nd, and you were 18th. That's what covered all that bullshit passing. That's what covered it. Your bullshit passing was covered by the run game. Look at that run game. And by the way, you could probably say that the reason that the run game in 2025 was down was because Hurts decided not to run. And it covered the passing game. Okay? And this is why you're completely changing the playbook. You're completely changing it. Stop being sensitive on here. People talk about by Dak winning. Okay? I mean, Dak's got to win too, dude. He does. Hey, funny. Okay? And by the way, this is why you changed it. Couldn't be our decimated O-line. Your O-line wasn't decimated. Hurts won with an all-star team and only got 1. I wouldn't be that greedy. You got the 2. With him being a caboose, I wouldn't be that crazy. Jalen Rodgers? Yeah, no. Okay? Change everything but the quarterback. Explain that. No, you're going to have to replace your O-line, your running back, your quarterback in the next 2 years on offense. I mean, Landon will be gone. Lane will be gone. Barkley will be gone in the next 2 years. And most likely your quarterback will be gone. Facts. May's going to have a great year with A.J. Brown. Quarterback change is coming if Hurts can't make it work this year. Yeah, absolutely. Best wide receivers, best running back, best O-line, best defense. Well, like I said, look at your run game. Here, put this in context. When people want to put the offense, in 2021, when Hurts first took over, they were number 1 in rushing and 32nd in passing. Okay, rookie year, no problem, right? They had the worst passing attack that year in pro football and the best running game. That's how they won 9 games. They didn't win it with that shitty passing game. Then in 2022, Hurts' best year. 9th in passing, 5th in rushing. Great year. Got to a Super Bowl. 2023, they were 16th in passing and 8th in rushing. Okay? In 2024, they had the second best rushing attack and the 29th ranked passing attack. And last year, they were 18th in rushing and 24th in passing. Dude, they won these football games with their defense and their run game. And I think that's what the Eagles, they know that. 5 years later, last in passing. How does the offense get worse? How does it get worse? Jalen has the all-time record for the fastest quarterbacks to reach 50 rushing touchdowns. Congratulations, Jalen Newton. Barkley had 2 100-yard rushing games against them Cowboys his career because of the great O-line he had. Seals, what's your thought on UFC Freedom 250? Sean O'Malley walked out to the octagon, was classic. I thought the whole thing was, the fights were great. I thought the whole thing was a little bit trashy. They're on the lawn of the White House. But it's better than what I saw a couple years ago with the trans games. So I'll go down that lane, but I don't know. I don't know if that's a place for it. The whole sporting events at the lawn of the White House. So the fights were great, though. Okay? Let's see here. Any other quarterbacks would have at least 2 rings and probably 3. You mean like Mahomes? Can you imagine if Mahomes had that talent? Lane better be ready for Q Williams and Kenny Clark this year. Let me take a look at the Cowboys. Let's go over to the Cowboys here. Let's see what they've done on defense. Quinnen Williams is by far a better football player than Jalen Carter. Carter probably has more upside, but Quinnen Williams is a better defensive tackle. The nose tackle's not bad. Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary on the other side, that's not awful. I don't know what Overshone's going to do in that off-backer spot. D. Winters, I mean, yeah, they could replace him. Kobe, I think he's an okay corner. Deron Bland's overrated. I think Caleb Downs. Now, again, this is a prediction. I think Caleb Downs is probably going to have as much impact on the Cowboy defense as Cooper DeJean did on the Eagle defense. That's how good I think he is. Now, that's a prediction. I still got to see him play. But that kid is just, he was the best player in the draft, I thought. Lane isn't the only one blocking those guys. He's more than likely to go to block the edge rushers, not DTs, or are healthy. Yeah, you're right. He's going to get edge rushers. He's not going to be down blocking on defensive tackles. Yes. DeJean is going to be the base safety. Not a big deal, but I think it is going to be something to watch. How he plays at that safety position. Comparing down to a second rounder, Coop, nice. He should be better than Coop because where you're drafted means you should be better. You really believe that. So you give Dak Prescott then a lot of credit for being a fourth rounder then, right? Well, then, Senor, you must think Dak Prescott is a special player. He was drafted in the fourth round, if you have that mentality. Is that correct? Boy, you must have high praise for Dak. Comparing Downs to a second rounder, Coop, nice. He should be better than Coop. Well, with that logic, Dak Prescott, you would have to think that, okay, Seals, where your draft matters. Great credit for Dak putting up stats and beating you. He has no problem with the Eagles. Every time he lines up against Philly, he wins. He's 10-5. As a rival, I used to look at the same damn thing, the Eagle roster. Wow, what the hell? How can you compete with that? Not ready to eat. To be honest, I think Cooper will be better at safety than he is at slot. Dude, I think you could put that guy anywhere. Well, we mentioned this already. Sills, what's your thoughts on Tyreek Hill going to the Eagles, being the highest odds on the? Yes, I would say this, that because Drew Rosenhaus represents him along with Robert Bailey, I think there's a great chance. Okay? I do. So some experience in the agent game here. Not to be a sexist, women agents never held the same edge in commanding a room as the men did in negotiating. Hurts has an agent issue. I think Nicole's pretty good, though, dude. But maybe. It's over. They had a window. It's only last when you have a franchise quarterback. Oh, that's a shooter. I think the Eagles' window's closed. But Howie, as I told Zander, will open it up again. I think your window was 22, 23, 24, 25. That's not bad having a 4-year window. By the way, it's better than the one you had the last time. You had no window. You won a Super Bowl and had no window for your football team after you won your first one. It was just a one-up. You had more of a run here with this. You had a 4-year run. Your last time you won, you had no run. It was one Super Bowl. This has been a 4-year run here where you've been in the conversation. That's not awful. Most teams would kill for that. Dude, 3 years is an eternity in the NFL. 4 years is insane. Your people are expecting to have the same kind of success that New England had. You don't have that kind of quarterback. You don't have what Kansas City has. Mahomes is going to keep that window open every year he's in the league. Same with Stafford. Those guys are going to keep that window open because why? They're not dual threat dudes. They win from the pocket. They're great with throwing the football. They're great at keeping everything close. They could throw themselves out of trouble. Stafford gets behind, he could throw himself out of trouble. A lot of quarterbacks in this league can't do that. By the way, Hogan, I don't mind a woman agent. I don't mind that. And I guarantee you, Nicole Lynn being the president of Clutch Sports, Maverick Carter's not going to put someone in that role. And Maverick Carter's not they're not going to put someone in there that's not qualified. So I don't have a problem with that. By the way, she represented Will Anderson, and she's got, what's his name, too? She's got Myles Garrett. Mahomes is dual threat. He led the Chiefs in rushing last year. With what, 200 yards? Let's see what he did last year. Yeah, he had to run more probably and that's probably why they lost so much and he got hurt. He was dual threat. Here's Patrick Mahomes' numbers being a dual threat guy. Patrick Mahomes. It's like saying Dak's a dual threat guy. Here's Mahomes' numbers as a rusher. .272, 218, 300, 381, 350, 380, 307, and 422. And that's why he got hurt, because he had to run the ball more. Shit, Hurts doubles those numbers. And by the way, the year that he threw for 5,000 yards, 52-50, 41 touchdowns, Tyreek Hill wasn't on that team. And he threw for 52-50. He's the all-time passer, Mahomes, in yards per game in NFL history, with 285.2 yards per game. He's number one in success rate at 51.9 in pro football history. He's 95-31. He's 16-5 in the playoffs, with 5 Super Bowl appearances and 3 wins and 3 MVPs. Shit. That's called hoisting it. That's getting it done. Mahomes needs to change the scheme to help his fledgling frame. His fledgling frame just got 63 large. Shows you how fucked up that guy is. His fledgling frame just got a contract that added money to it to pay him $530 million to his fledgling frame. Ugh. Panthers also have a decision to make on quarterback Bryce Young, who is entering his 4th season and has shown incremental growth. So 2026 is huge for him as well. I agree. Okay. Let's see here. He says Mahomes is frail. Is he? Let's take a look at frail. He says Mahomes is frail. So let's see how many games he's missed in 9 years. Let's see. 3. They sat him that year for the final 2. 17. They sat him for the final game there. In 2024, they sat him there. And last year, he missed 3. So in 9 years, he's missed 6 games for the frail Patrick Mahomes. Frail Patrick Mahomes. The frail Patrick Mahomes. What it gets down to is, does your current quarterback get your team to the playoffs? And if he does, then he's getting that $50 million and getting in the $50 million range. Right now, Drake May, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Sam Darnold, and Bo Nix have. Correct. Okay? Let's see here. And that frail Patrick Mahomes is 2-3 versus Jalen Hurts. And you're 0-2 versus Justin Herbert. You want to go to that game? I think even Baker Mayfield's 2-2 versus the Eagles or some shit. You're 0-2 versus Herbert. And Herbert beat you with no O-line and a broken hand. How you doing? Okay. Name a quarterback that hasn't been injured behind that Bengals whole line. It's terrible. The Bengals offensive line is ridiculous. Burrow's never had an offensive line ranked. Hey, yeah, I know those crazy stats. Zach Wilson 1-0. Here, as many years as Jalen's been in the league, let's take a look at this. What was the Bengals offensive line ranked in 21? 20th. What was it in 22? 28th. In 23, 26th. In 24, what was it ranked in 24? 31st. What were they ranked in 2025? So 20, 28th, 26th, and 31st. Shit, and Joe Burrow got to a Super Bowl with that. Joe Burrow has not had an O-line ranked better than 20th since he's been the starting quarterback. I mean, hey, Nad. Nad, we had Mr. D on Sunday. Let's see here. No quarterback has won more NFL games as a starting quarterback since the 2024 season than Sam Darnold. True. Yeah. Ned, look at this. Let me show you this here. Let me show you this real quick. Let's see here. See here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Edward J. DeBartolo. Mr. D is a very close friend of mine. Very close friend. All right. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. There is no question this firm has been put together by Ultima and John Morgan to serve families like you. Simple as that. It's the reason nobody beats Morgan & Morgan if you're ever hurt on the job. I told you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They got nearly $30 million in settlement, or the family in Florida who was offered $350,000. They got nearly $12 million in settlement. Guys, do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Please hit that like button. Yeah, we had Eddie DeBartolo on, and Mr. DeBartolo thinks the National Football League is heading in a tough spot with this gambling. And I think he's the greatest owner in NFL history. I don't think anybody else. I don't think anybody has been a better owner than him. What the hell's going on here? I don't think anybody's been a better owner. And we appreciated Mr. Bartolo coming on. Winner of 5 Super Bowls. I mean, teams they built, second to none. 0-3 in Super Bowls. He's 5-0, jackass. 0-3? He's 5-0. As the owner of the 49ers. What the hell are you talking about? Sills, I think I've heard you say this, but I think this offense will benefit Steen's style of play. I think he's going to have a really good year in this offense. Okay? Super Bowls. He's 5-0 in Super Bowls. He didn't own the 49ers when they went to those Super Bowls and lost. He's 5-0. Yeah, that guy. And yes, York and them dudes are 0-3. When Eddie owned the team, they were 5-0 in Super Bowl play. They were not. They never lost the Super Bowl when Ed DeBartolo was the owner of the team. I mean, the only time they got, well, Twice they got close. Okay. Yeah, Eddie D owned the team, had the team taken from him. And Denise DeBartolo York, his sister, got the football team, and Jed York now runs the thing. And they run it well, but at the end of the day, Mr. DeBartolo was the best owner. Carmen Policy was not the genius. Carmen Policy was the guy who came in after John McVay. The guys who built the 49ers, I know the story, dude. I'm not ripping you too, my friend. It was John McVay. It was Eddie DeBartolo and Bill Walsh. And Eddie is, without a doubt, he's one of my dear friends, and I love the guy. '49ers are an elite franchise, just horrendous luck. They're a phenomenal franchise. And really, I mean, if you go back to that era back in, the 90s and all, it was either Cowboys or the 49ers that were, okay. Let's see here. I do respect it. Chiefs are awesome. Steen playing guard pretty damn well for a tackle, but that's the easier transition. It is. I thought Carmen figured out the way around the signing bonus with the cap. That's true. It's a good take. He was like the first guy dealing with the cap, like how he's mastered it. But Carmen was. But Carmen Policy, tried to take credit for like all the winning that the 49ers had. It wasn't really him. The guy who had more to do with the winning was John McVay. And my uncle hired John McVay. John McVay was hired by Robustelli to be the head football coach of the New York Giants. He just wasn't a good head coach. Phenomenal talent evaluator. He just wasn't a good head coach. So the 49ers knew that, and they brought him in, and he became like the head of personnel. And it was McVay and Walsh that did all that. Sean McVay of the Redskins coaching staff fame. Sean McVay's his grandson. That's how I know the McVays very well. And I've known them since probably I was 20. And maybe, I know him soon. I knew him before that when I was in my teenage years, because John McVay used to come to Stanford all the time. Okay. Road runs through Santa Clara. Seattle celebrated twice in your building. That whole Santa Clara thing, Twiz, I think without a doubt has made, the 49ers not the 49ers anymore. You see Nat here? I mean, Santa Clara, they've alienated pretty much almost their entire fan base by putting that team down there. Redskins let all gold mine coaching tree walk. LaFleur was on that team. McVay was on that team. Jay Gruden, too, put that staff together. There were a bunch of guys that were on that coaching staff that were insane. That Washington coaching staff. Hey, Seals, was Shanahan and Holmgren a part of that coaching staff with McVay? Was there? I think so. I think Holmgren was on. I think Holmgren was on the 49ers coaching staff with Mike Shanahan. Holmgren 49ers coaching staff. I thought he was there with Seifert. 86 to 91, he was there with Walsh. Walsh put him in the building. He coached Joe Montana and Steve Young. And Mike Shanahan. '89 to 91. Shanahan and Holmgren coached. Shanahan coached from 92 to 94. That's Seifert. That's Seifert. That's not Walsh. I think Walsh left in '89 when he was there. Steen was a tackle in college. And he's coming along. Actually, one of the guys that is really coming along, okay? Get this. New York Times released a piece about their observations of an offense based on 4 practices and gave it a glowing review on something that's never been used in a football game. Hope it pans out for you, guy. Okay? It's weird, Twiz, because McVay is one of the few coaches to never work with Nick, but he probably gives Nick the most praise than any other coach in the league. I love McVay, except for one thing, and I'll say it again. I think Sean McVay, I think 2 minutes into a game and that second half against the Eagles, he's got to be better. Shit, when he was in the playoff game against Seattle, and even in that Bears playoff game, he wasn't very good. I mean, he's got to be better in crunch time, dude. I mean, he's just got to be better. He is one of the absolute best play callers, to say the least. But he's got to be better. Hey, look at this record here. And I know you guys love, but he actually has a job. He's a play caller. And every time I hear John McMullen say he's overrated, it's crazy. Sean McVay. If you think this is overrated, then, I mean, so here's McVay's record. In his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, Sean McVay is 102 and he's 102 and 63. He's 10-6 in the playoffs. And he's got a Super Bowl win, an NFC championship, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 NFC West championships. And the wild thing is, he just turned 40. He's 40 years old. He's 40 years old and he's won 102 games. And he's 10-6 in the playoffs. You talk about a coach that's still developing. I mean, he's 40. This guy could coach another. This guy could go another 15 years. Seals, if you were the 49ers, do you just let Ayuk walk and help beat teams you are competing with being on Washington? Playoff positioning is going to be a little bit tough. I would say this to you, my friend. I don't think Brandon Ayuk is all that hot a player. I think he's a product of the system. I'd let that guy walk. I think I think Kyle Shanahan could create another Brandon Ayuk any day. I don't believe he's that good. I just don't. I think Brandon Ayuk is a product of the 49ers. And I just, again, he wants to, be paid like the elite guys in the league. He's not elite. And I think he's a product of that system. I trade his ass to an AFC team, and I trade him to a team like the Jets. It's funny, though. I don't see anybody breaking their balls to go get the guy. I don't see anybody breaking the 49ers walls down. And he's talking about being released. Plus, he's being a cancer. Get him out of there, man. So here's Brandon Ayuk. 748, 826, 1,000 yards, 1342. Really a good year. 7 touchdowns. Last year, 7 games, 374 yards and no touchdowns. In his 5 years, he's got 4,300 yards. Not bad. About 800 yards a year. And he's a product of the 49ers. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I bet you Mike Evans puts up 1,100 yards this year. I'll bet you anything. He puts up 1,100 yards. All right. Pay some bills here. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. Guys, there will never be another firm like Morgan & Morgan if you're ever hurt on the job. Look, it's family-owned, family-run. I tell you about them all the time. They started this company over 25 years ago, and it became a crusade for John and Ultima to make sure they defend families across this country. There's no question about it. This 25-year company has grown into being one of the companies that defends Americans across this country. Go to forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sills or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sill sent you.
There's a reason the Karate Master was the #1 salesman in the lumber department.
Karate.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Tomorrow, we will be 38 days away from the start of training camp for the Eagles. I mean, we're almost inside a month. Guys, I appreciate you very much. Please hit that like button. We will see you tomorrow going 2 to 6, and we'll see you on the flip side.